All right. Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Mohr Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design Districts. We are RadioMisfits.com. More to the point, we are Radio Misfits Dallas. Growth. Excuse me. We got a lot of stuff to do today. Now, I do want to address something right out of the top here. And I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, but it is an ongoing process. Since 2021, every day at noon, I've been presenting you the Rant, which is just me, a middle-aged narcissist screaming into a webcam every day about the news of the day. It's talk radio. It's talk radio the way I think talk radio should be done, but it's not allowed on the radio because I'm not political. I don't give a fuck how you voted. I don't really care. Yeah, I'm not triggered by your red hat. I'm sorry. You show up with your, I'm not triggered. I'll judge you. I'll be like, oh, this is a guy trying to trigger people, right? You know, you're being political. I'm not political. I don't want to get political. I have no interest in it. You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about fun stuff. I want to talk about stuff that we all encounter. Yesterday was a great example here in Dallas. We watched we watched one really fun video and one really sad video. We're focusing more on the area that we live in. More Dallas stories, more talk about us. I don't give a fuck that people in Milan can listen to this show if they want. The attempt here with what Radio Misfits Dallas is doing is to bring back talk radio at the local level. Well, Pugs, what do you say? We still got talk radio. No, you don't. No, you really don't. You got stations that pipe people in from other markets that don't know anything about. I couldn't tell you the difference between the Galleria and Stonebriar. Local conversation is dead in this country because it's just more affordable is not the word. It is more profitable to have one guy in a studio in New York making $100 million than it is to pay, 500 guys across the country $1 million a year. So they've replaced all the local broadcasters with just a select few. And then all they do essentially is carry water for whoever the big advertisers are because they want to keep their jobs because those are good jobs, right? I am more of an artiste. I do this. I do talk radio because I can't do anything else, for one. And for two, because I like it too much. I just don't want. Why don't you go get a job in an Amazon warehouse? Don't wanna. Would rather be poor. Would rather die on the streets at 57 than do something that is going to make my every moment on this plane of existence horrible. Now, I know. I'm one of these people. You live in the moment, don't you? I do. I live in the moment. Why? Because as I tell you all the time, our next breath is not guaranteed. We go, oh, sure. We're going to do that next week. Next week is not guaranteed. You could be walking out the house, get hit with a 50-pound slab of frozen shit that fell from an airliner, and you're dead. Just like that. Oh, I know you had an early meeting this morning, but you won't be making it. So stop with that. All we have are these moments, these instances, whatever is happening right now. That's all we have. That's what I believe. So for 2 hours a day, I choose to spend with you good folks, you fine folks. We got Peter in the chat room. We've got Jen in the chat room. We've got Al in the chat room. We got Barney in the chat room. We got Kevin in the chat room. Who else do we? We got Mikey D in the chat room. The chat room is filling up. I love it. Come one, come all. So some of the changes otherwise that we're going to be doing around here is we're going to be rolling out a new format, okay? Formats for the uninitiated are things that radio stations, radio programmers have been using to basically segment listening audiences. So formats are, there's a country station, that's a format. There's a talk station, that's a format. There's a sports talk station, that's a format. There's an easy listening station, that's a format. There's a rock station, that's a format. There's an alternative station, that's a format. So you see what I mean? There are different formats, templates that radio stations operate under. I think what was the last new format? The new radio format that was introduced. I mean, not counting far right-wing fascist talk. I mean, that's taken hold everywhere. Not so much here in Dallas, but which is surprising because you think it would, but it is taking place in other markets. That's before that. I think Jammin' Old Jack, that's it. Jack was the last truly great radio format, I think, to be introduced. Remember the Jack format? We play what we want. Now that format was the anti-format. That's the whole premise of that format was to be the anti-format. The format of Jack FM, which exists in every city in America, the format of Jack FM is that Bill Hicks joke, the Bill Hicks joke on marketing, where he's on stage and he says, anybody here work in marketing? And a bunch of people are like, we do. And he says, okay, kill yourselves. All of you, kill yourselves. And then he goes into this whole thing about how the marketing people process being asked to kill themselves. And he's like, oh, that's really smart. Bill's going for the depressive market. This is really good stuff. We could certainly make a whole bunch of money on it. Right? That's what the Jack format is. The Jack format is, we're not a format. We don't, all those other people have formats. We're just going to, yeah, well, that's a format, you duplicitous sons of bitches. So the new format that I'm fucking around with, and it'll be a digital format, but it's one that I don't think really exists. I think that there are shades of it, but the format is one that I've been talking about. Shock House Talk. It is an attempt to build an entire format of live streaming local Dallas content, the way you used to listen on the radio. Anytime you could chime in and you'll have a show to listen to of people from Dallas who are not talking about politics, and they're also not talking about bullshit, namby-pamby community stuff. They're talking like real people, guys and girls talking about dating and cars and having fun and drinking too much and the biggest regrets and what your dreams are. We're not afraid to say things like tits and fuck, and ain't nobody afraid to be canceled anymore. And that's the most important thing with the Shock House format. If somebody's an asshole and says shit that we don't like, and we don't like hanging around with him, he's just not a part of the group anymore. He's not fucking canceled. We're going to be worried about sponsors saying, you better fire your highly popular morning guy, or else we're not going to give you that money for them widgets you're advertising. Fuck you. Shock House needs to be fearless. And there are advertisers out there who don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck the way the national advertisers do. National advertisers would be like, oh, we have to distance ourselves from that. Local advertisers are like, no, fuck that. This dude is popular. People like him in this market. I want to be associated with it. So that's the goal of Shock House Dallas, which is rolling out. That also explains the scroll at the bottom of the screen that is sort of going to run there from time to time to remind people of what we're trying to do here. So if you're with me, you're with me. Look, now here's what I promise. I am not going to be all that different than the way I've been on this rant the last 3 years. You know, that's the real me, right? That's me. It's just the subject matter that we discuss might change a little. I'm still a news junkie, and there'll be heaping helpings of that, I promise you, current events talk and stuff. But we're also going to have more guests. We're going to have more fun. The show may not exist at this time anymore. I may decide that there's somebody better when we start to unroll the, who I want to do shows here at Shock House Dallas, part of the Radio Misfits Dallas family. So anyway, that's what I've been thinking. That's all the stuff that I've been thinking. I'll tell you something else too. I was talking to Ed, the creator of Radio Misfits, the big boss man around here. I was talking to Ed this morning. And I kind of started, I have a tendency that when I am, how do we call it? A little hyper, let's say it. A little bit, the juices are flowing. I have a tendency to concept dump on people. So Ed and I talked today, and he's been looped in. He knows what all this is about. But I was really like, and then we should do this, and then we can do this, and then what I see that leading to, I was doing that whole thing. But I explained to him why the sudden change, why all of a sudden, after 2.5, almost 3 years of just kind of treading water, and as I like to describe the past couple of years of my life, I mean, the freak, really, like I lost 6 months of my life, probably 9 months of my life, just sitting there going, okay, what? You keep saying next week. You keep saying fucking next week. What the hell? So I wasted a lot of time. I like to say I was a plastic grocery bag blowing through an empty Target parking lot on a windy day. That's it. Wherever the wind took, that's what I was. I was happy to be here within driving distance of my son. But really that was about it. I wasn't inspired. I didn't see any urgency, I was just like, fuck it. I'm so grossed out by all of this stuff. I don't want to work with anybody. The people I do want to work with don't want to work with me because maybe they're grossed out by me, which really hurts. I don't even know. I have such a low self-opinion of myself. When someone doesn't call me back, I'm like, they fucking hate me. So I was talking to Ed this morning and I said to him, man, it was Kelly's death. My partner, Kelly, who I love dearly, who is my sister, who, we do the show. I will never do a show that I own and operate from anything that isn't known as the Kelly Mohr Studios for the rest of my life. Unless somebody else is paying me to be there in their studio, that's fine. But any studio that I do anything from will always be that. But Kelly's death changed me. I would say until about Christmas, I was fucked up. I came in here every day and I did the show, but I was fucked up. Already suffer from depression, but those aren't the things that trigger depression. People don't understand depression. Depression is about, I don't know what it's about, brain chemistry and all that. But so it wasn't that. But if the healthiest person I knew could go to sleep and just not wake up, and it's not drugs, right? That's toxicology came back. Because that's the only thing you think. You're like, what the fuck? She doesn't do drugs. Did she take the wrong prescription or something? It was that kind of thing. It wasn't drugs. It was heart disease. They cracked her open and they went, whoa, she had really advanced heart disease. Get your heart checked. Okay. That's crazy. Now, the manner of her death isn't what sort of motivated me. That's just for you guys, because I don't know that I've talked about that much because we don't really go into it. But the fact that she died is what it was. The fact. You guys have to understand, Kelly and I were in constant conversation with different fucking radio people, or at least I was, and I was always talking, The Freak here is a good example. And then before that, there was ESPN radio, and then there was a station in Chicago, and there was there never went anywhere. But that's one of the reasons why I think I was kind of okay being a plastic bag in an empty Target parking lot blowing in the wind. Because I was waiting on Kelly. Kelly had a brain injury a couple of years before she passed away. And I didn't really know if that was going to affect her because Kelly's skill set was that she was the quickest wit I ever worked with. I'm a jerk store guy. Like if we're arguing about something, I will, you suck. And then I'll walk away. And as I'm walking away, I'll go, oh, I should have said that. Kelly said it in the blink of an eye. Kelly was quick. So, we were talking about doing a lot of stuff. So we decided to restart our old Practical Pick segment as a little weekly podcast. And that was that I did that because I wanted to she's my sister. I love her. I wanted to work with her again, but I hadn't really had conversations with her in an entertainment way, in a way, a radio way. So I wanted to see how was she? And that's the perfect vehicle for it because Practical Picks was all her. So I got to sit there and I got to see how her brain worked. And I was like, fuck, she's fine. She's fine. And then there was a whole bunch of months of, are you going to move back here? Are you going to move back here? Because there are opportunities. There are opportunities. Yeah, I'm going to move back here. I'm just doing this, blah, 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 blah. And it never went anywhere because I was a plastic bag blowing through an empty Kroger parking lot on a windy day. I know I said Target the first couple of times. But anyway, it was that. It was her passing where I went, holy fuck. There is urgency. I need to practice what I preach. I tell everybody that all we have is this moment. So that's why the sudden changes. That's why the shift in attitude. That's why the shift in content. You may have noticed some content shift, some less me trying to be a grown-up talking about things and just sort of reverting back to a dude in a bar talking shit. Because I think that's there. That's there for the taking. There is nobody doing that kind of talk. I know you can point to Barstool, and I know you can point to any number of sports talk stations, but those are all sports genres. Shockhouse will talk sports, but we're not going to sit here and pretend like we're fucking Norm. We're dudes who watch sports, right? We're not going to, well, here's actually, it was, the 15th draft, the 15th pick in 1970. Whatever. Fuck you and your stupid guy talk. That's the format. That's Shockhouse Dallas. So if you're with us, come with us. Man, I got a call today. I got a text last night. I got a text last night, and I don't know. Here's the one thing. I know the dude's sober, so I know that it wasn't a drunk text or a drunk thing. I'll tell you about this. All right, so here it is. Here's the text that I got at, let's see. When did the original one come in? All right, it came in at 2:33 a.m. 2:34 a.m. last night. I received a text from one of my radio heroes, one of the greatest sports talk icons in the world. Just at 2:33. Here's what it says. Sorry about the hour. Really? Fingers crossed you aren't awakened. Freight trains in my head. I've been reborn. I want to spend the next few years making fun content. I need co-conspirators with similar drives. Can we talk later today? Again, sorry. Yeah. All right. I don't want to go on to the rest because I hadn't read it all, but that's what I woke up to. Now I'm going to tell you the name because privacy, and he's a friend of mine and all that kind of stuff. He's a big name. He's a name you guys would know. He's been exiled. He's been exiled. I mean, it's coming together. I feel like it's coming together. It's coming together. That person. Now, I'm friends with the legendary Hammer here in Texas, Greg the Hammer Williams. Genius sports radio icon here in Dallas. And let's be honest, Grego is known nationwide for what the Hardline has done. My dream is to get the guy who just sent me that text and Grego in a room together and just moderate. Just sit back and let those two fucking guys. It'll be exciting. So that's what I woke up to. That's got my head spinning. That's got me very excited. So let's go. What do you say? All right. Oh, we do. We've got an executive producer today. And you know what? Holky Schmokels. We need to thank that person because, I didn't update this. I've been running around. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Yesterday's executive producer, and we shouldn't soon forget, he's the great Bill. Bill is the king of trivia. He came out to trivia night and he ran the room. That's what he did. Today's executive producer. Hold on, let me make sure I get this right because boy, oh boy, she's one of the fabulous 15. There we go. All right, we're gonna do that. Boom. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy with a nice significant tip yesterday that put a little spring in my step. That's awesome. You're the best. And it's like I see that tip and I get a little scared because next week is pledge week, and she just made the number that we're going to need to hit significantly lower. So thank you so much. Thank you to Tracy. She's our executive producer. If you want to support this kind of talk radio, and hopefully we're going to be able to drop this because we're going to have some sponsors. Because I'm telling you, people want to invest in tits, ass, guns, cars, sports talk. I'm telling you, it's a fucking gold mine. The election happened in November, and although I didn't vote for the team that won because I didn't vote at all because I was disgusted by both my choices, there are some benefits to it, and that is I don't think we're going to be canceling people anymore for saying she's got nice tits on a podcast, okay? Tracy D. She's fantastic. I'm sure she has nice tits. I don't know. I think I met Tracy. I don't know that I've ever evaluated her tits. I will certainly do that next time. Tracy, just so you know, next time I see you, tit evaluation coming up. I'm not a hard sell. I'm there are no bad tits. It's like ice cream, right? That's pretty much the thing. If you're a straight guy, tits are like ice cream. There's no bad ice cream. Actually, there is bad ice cream. Have you ever had that Japanese garbage? That ginseng fucking garbage ice cream? Oh, it's gross. It's gross. It's green. It's like, this ain't ice cream. This is an abomination. If you do want to support the show, all you got to do is drop us some in the Cash App or the Venmo. Thank you so much. Be like Tracy. Everybody should be more like Tracy. I hear she's got nice tits. All right, enough on that. We got stuff to get to today. We got some crazy stuff. We got more crazy video from Dallas, Texas. Yeah, yesterday we showed the lady getting naked. Remember the lady getting naked in the in DFW airport yesterday? She was awesome. We might have to see that again because, quite frankly, that was fun. Also, we've got something that happened this morning. Lovers in Greenville, my neck of the woods. That's SMU campus. Well, it's the part of the SMU campus that's on the other side of the interstate where, SMU students go to get drunk and buy drugs. That's Lovers in Greenville. That's over where we had an incident. We're going to watch the video there, and we're going to talk once again about what is the expectation of us as people when this shit goes down in public, right in front of us. Are we supposed to get involved? Look, I'm not going to take any criticism from you fuckers who are like, put the camera down. Fuck you. Clicks are a commodity in this day and age. If I'm not going to get involved physically and don't have to because I'm not personally being threatened, you better believe I'm filming that shit and I'm putting it on my Twitter account, Facebook. We're going to milk that shit. Everything's capturing real life. Capturing real life is a commodity these days. So stop with your put the camera down and do something. Do what? We'll discuss what it is that we're supposed to do. We're going to talk dildos. Yeah. And not just because, when the Pugs is trying too hard to do shock. No, that's not it. And I don't like to really refer to my style as shock, although it is the brand name. So maybe I should get more comfortable with the idea. Provocative talk, just provocative, real talk. There's a news story. Yeah. Here in Texas, we're did you guys know? I keep hearing it. We're the freest state in the nation. Oh, Texas freedom. Fucking not that Connecticut bullshit. Texas freedom. Texas freedom's going to make you present an ID if you want to buy a dildo. Yeah. The state's going to have to know that you're buying a dildo. You believe that fucking shit? Texas freedom. We'll get into it. What else do we have? We got a whole bunch of stuff here. Let me go through here. We should probably just start and get into it naturally. Oh, I got a really fun in the birthday segment because we're still going to do that. I think I got a really fun and a really difficult Kiss, Marry, Kick today. 3 ladies having a birthday, 3 ladies that I am attracted to and would consider having a relationship with. We will name these ladies, and then we will decide which one we are going to kiss, which is a polite way of saying make out real hard. Hold on, Steve. Oh, Jesus. Kiss, Marry, Kick. One we're going to make out with really hard. One we're going to marry and spend the rest of our life in wedded bliss with. And the third one is we're going to kick to the curb. We don't need them. Okay, so we're going to do that as well. God damn, it's so hot in here. It is so hot in here. I'm starting to sweat like a pig in my own damn studio. Hey, where's my phone? I just had it. There it is. Okay, I was looking right at it. Let's go back to the chat room. Barney's in the chat. What did Barney say? Let's see what you guys are saying, and we'll get the show started. But I want to touch in with you guys because you guys need more attention, I think. Barney says, don't put it down for goodness sake. Hold it steady and keep the action in frame. Oh, you're talking about me when I hit this? What are you talking about? I don't know what Barney's talking about. I'm having camera problems. I got lighting problems. I got this thing right here. See this? This is a new light. I got to somehow figure out a way to make that light not be there. Looks like my screen is burned. It's not. All right, Barney. Let's see. That's a good one. There you go. Our executive producer, Tracy D. Adam asks, are you sure it's not Tracy Double D? That's the kind of witticism that get him a place. Radio Misfits Dallas. Adam will be our resident lefty libtard loon, but we'll love him just the same because that's the whole point of the whole thing. Let's see here. Peter says he's been on the phone with his wife. He missed all the great intro. Sorry, he's going to catch up. Well, that's what you can do with this. You can go back. You can rewind. So that's always nice. All right. What do you say we get started here? Let's do the rant. Okay, the rant. It is the 27th day of March, year of our Lord, 2025. Hold on. I got the hiccups. Real professional. I went from sneezing on the air to hiccups. Guys, I can't tell you how hot it is in here. What is it outside? It can't be that hot outside, right? So why does it feel like it's 105 degrees in the studio right now? It's only 76 degrees outside and rain is possible. Okay. All right, let's get started. It's also opening day, which is super cool. You longtime listeners of the show might remember 2 years ago on opening day when I predicted the Texas Rangers were going to win the World Series. Well, I'll do a full-on opening day baseball prediction. I've got you. I'm going to tell you who's going to win each division and who's going to win the World Series. So we'll talk a little opening day. Baseball is back, mother. Yeah. Thinking about going out tomorrow to the Choctaw Casino Bar. I don't know what it is. We don't have legalized gambling in Texas. How is there a Choctaw Casino out at the ballpark? Going out to the Mike Reiner, and his incredible local little juggernaut production company, Stolen Water Media, and his show, Mike Reiner, legendary ticket founder, his show, My Dark Companion. They're going to be out there. They're going to be at the Choctaw. And it's going to be Mike, and it'll be Grooves, and it'll be Grego. It'll be, are you fucking kidding me? That is like a ticket appearance from 2006. That is the shit. So I'm thinking about going out there after the show. If any of you want to meet me out there, that might be fun. We'll go out there and we'll hang out with them. I gotta put the screws to Grego. I gotta get Grego in here on Monday. I gotta get Grego in here. I gotta pitch him on doing a show with the guy that contacted me today. Got a lot to do. Baseball is back. Had Popeye's chicken last night. Yeah, I splurged. You know what? Because of Tracy D. I didn't have time to cook. I didn't want to go home and cook anything, and I don't eat fast food, and I know I wasn't eating fast food. Remember my pledge? I don't do any New Year's resolutions, but every year I try to not eat fast food until St. Patrick's Day. Well, I failed miserably. I ended up getting they introduced the Shamrock Shake early. I had to get a Shamrock Shake at McDonald's. And if I'm at McDonald's, I'm not going to not get a Filet-O-Fish. So I didn't make it this year. And last night I had my second fast food, Popeyes. Can I tell you something about Popeyes? I used to argue that Popeyes is superior to Kentucky Fried Chicken, even though I prefer the taste of Kentucky Fried Chicken. The reason that Popeyes is superior is because Kentucky Fried Chicken, they've got some like Mengele style chicken laboratory somewhere where they have created the world's smallest chickens. Have you ever gotten a chicken leg from Kentucky Fried Chicken and went, this is fucking pigeon. This isn't a chicken. So for that reason, I was always like, Popeyes is better. But I got Popeyes last night, and I got to tell you, they got the small chicken Mengele dudes there as well now. Fucking Popeyes breasts used to be huge. They were terrible. It was a very disappointing experience. It was terrible. Screw you, Popeyes. I'll tell you one thing. I don't love that chicken from Popeyes. Not anymore. If everything's going to be the size of a pigeon, I'm going back to KFC. Thank you very much. Also, got this text from my son last night, and it is absolutely true because I told him that I got Popeye's chicken. Because he keeps tabs on my fast food, so I had to report in, and I had to tell him that I needed. Hold on. So he actually had this observation, which is also very, very smart. Hold on. His observation he just sent me yesterday was. Hold on. All Oh, here you go. My son texted me last night at 8:30. People sleep on grocery store fried chicken. Shit was heavenly, Dad. And he's right. Grocery store fried chicken, man. Don't sleep on grocery store fried chicken. When you walk into the grocery store and they're selling the fried chicken and stuff. Now in Chicago, we have a food store called Jewel. And on Monday, they have cheap chicken Mondays where you can go in and get like a whole shit bunch of chicken for like $5. And it's like the greatest chicken ever. It is. It's better than all the other ones. So when I moved back down here, I was a little upset about losing cheap chicken Monday. And I find that Kroger has almost the exact same thing. And their chicken is every bit as good. Grocery store chicken, man. Don't sleep on it. Grocery store fried chicken. I'm not going to speak to the rotisserie. The grocery store fried chicken is very good. Very good. If you get it fresh, you got to get it fresh. All right, let's get started. It is the rant for the 27th day. It is the year 2025. We are 86 days into the year. There's 279 more of these until the end of the year. Get those New Year's Eve plans started, is what we like to say. Pugs, don't rush. Don't rush. Sorry, Jamie. Jamie told me this morning, he said, Pugs, don't rush. And I'm like, ugh. All right, let's do it. Quarter one. This is Antecedently on This Day. We take a look back at some of the things that have helped shape this particular day, and we riff on them. Why not? Let's do it. Antecedently on this day, 1513, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de Leon reaches the northern end of the Bahamas on his first voyage to Florida. Heard he went to Carlos and Charlie's and got kicked out. He's not as famous as Columbus, right? Because he was a couple of years. So if Columbus sailed in 1492 and Ponce de Leon went to the Bahamas in 1513, so that's 21. Wait, hold on. 13 and 8 is 21. There you go. I had it right. 21 years later. All right. Anyway, I got nothing else to say. He's not as important. I don't know if he got lost. We all know Columbus got lost. We all know Columbus got to Cuba and went, man, Japan is nothing like what I expected. Fucking idiot, that guy. But we remember him. Antecedently on this day in 1836 here in the great state of Texas, on the orders of General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, the Mexican army massacres 342 Texan POWs at Goliad, Texas. I don't think people outside of Texas don't know about Goliad. When I moved here to Texas, I learned all about it. That is some wild, horrid shit that we don't talk about. Goliad, Texas. Do here in Texas, though. We remember it. It was on this day in 1832 that it happened. Antecedently on, you know what they got to do? Is there a Goliad movie? You know what I bet there is? I just didn't watch a lot of Westerns. So I bet there is. I bet there's a number of Goliad movies. Anyway, moving on. On this day, antecedently in the year 1915, Typhoid Mary, the first healthy carrier of the disease typhoid ever identified in the United States, is put in quarantine for the second time, where she would remain for the rest of her life. Typhoid Mary. We know the name, like we all. That's just like, oh, what are you? Don't get near me. You're sick, Typhoid Mary. Right? We know that, but do we know who she was? Do we know why we know who she? My God, I mean, I don't. She knew she had typhoid. And okay, so here's what she was. She was an Irish immigrant, Mary. She was an Irish immigrant in New York City, and she worked for the wealthy people, the Gilded Age, if you will. She was a housekeeper and a maid. Actually, no, she was a cook. I'm sorry. She was a cook. She's a very good cook, and everybody wanted her. She was in demand. She's working for this big fancy family, and she gets them all sick. They all die. They all die. And because it was like 1910 or something, and you know what was up? They were like, oh, I wonder how they all died. Mary seems fine. She must be good. And oh, her reputation as a cook to the rich and famous was amazing. So she immediately got a new job with a new family, and they all died. They all died. It's like, and she wasn't poisoning them. There's no poisons. She just kept dying. But she was a good cook. Oh my God, nobody could make chocolate chip pancakes like old Typhoid Mary. Of course, she wasn't known by Typhoid Mary then. And then she went to another family and she did it again. She did it again. She knew she had typhoid, and for some reason it didn't affect her. She was fine. And then, so there you go. That's the story of Typhoid Mary. She's got everybody. She killed everybody. Typhoid Mary. On this day in 1950, she was finally put in quarantine for the rest of her life because they're like, we don't know what's up with you. Just stay in your box. Just stay there. Antecedently on this day in 1998, the Food and Drug Administration approves Viagra. Viagra is a boner pill that got now ED. Oh, sorry, ED. Now it's ED. There's a ton of brands on the market, but Viagra was the first, sort of the brand name. They were trying to cure baldness. You know, it's just like we're like nowhere on like women's uterine problems and breast cancer. We're nowhere. But you know what? Bald dudes, they were working round the clock to try and figure out how to make bald dudes get hair. And what they accidentally discovered was something that was even more lucrative. Although I don't know. Think about this. What would be more lucrative? A pill you could take to get a boner whenever you wanted, or a pill you could take and grow hair back? I think the boner pill is more lucrative because there's only, a percentage of the male population that is bald, whereas a larger percentage of the male population probably ages into a part of their life where they're having difficulty with the boners. So I would think that they tripped over their dick into something far more lucrative than just simply Rogaine Plus. Actually, I think Rogaine was a part of that as well. I think Rogaine is the other thing that they discovered. They were like, "Oh, you get hard, and he's got a full head of hair. Let's call this Tom Brady Fall, or Tom Brady Phil, something like that. I don't know. There's a Tom Brady name in there. I'm struggling. Kelly was the wit. Kelly would have had a great name for that ED drug that gives you hair, gets you hard, makes you as undeniable as Tom Brady. Antecedently on. Oh, by the way, here's a little thing about Cialis, or not Cialis, Viagra. Cialis is the other one. Cialis is the superior one. Pugs, how do you know? Because I'm taking a shitload of Viagra and Cialis. Shitloads! Starting when it was first introduced. Well, actually, that's not true. It was when I moved to Dallas. My doctor used to give me samples of it. Because I'm like, yeah. Give it to me. Here's the thing. Here's why it's one of the great party drugs of all time. It's not just for people who need it. Okay, it's for, you know what Viagra is? Here's what Viagra is. This is what I used to say. I go, I could go up to the plate and I might be able to swing a double or something like that. But, if I'm on deck and I'm using all of those donuts and I'm making my bat heavier, when I get to the plate, I'm going to be swinging for the fences every time. And that's what Viagra does. Viagra is awesome. You think it's only like 65-year-old men? Yeah. 25-year-olds are in the clubs popping Viagra before they go home. Now, here's what I say. I believe, because I have tried, I've tried whatever number one is. Try this, try that, whatever. They're fun. Hey, look, all I can tell you is that I dated, in my dating life, I was dating girls who were younger than me, maybe a little more energy. So there was that on top of it. You want to make sure you don't disappoint. Representing Gen X here with my millennial girlfriend. Cialis is better. There you go. I said it. Cialis is better than Viagra. The difference in the two is the Viagra, you take it. It's a one hop, it's a one hit. You take it, and that's it. They go away in a few hours. Cialis, 72 hours. Is that not 72 hours of a raging hard on? 72 hours of, if it presents itself, boop, you're ready to go really quick. Cialis is better. I mean, I've taken Viagra and then nothing happened. You're like, all right, I better prepare for this. And then you're like, what? And then you sit there and go home and watch Sports Center with your raging boner. On this day in 1998, Food and Drug Administration approves Viagra. On this day in 2023, and this is kind of interesting. Okay, it's terrible, but it's also, something that needs to be mentioned. On this day in 2023, 7 people, including the perpetrator, are killed in a mass shooting at the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. Remember that one? That was the trans girl. girl, boy. Did a bunch of liberals just hear me say it was the trans girl and go, it was. Got to call balls and strikes, man. That was a very liberal, very left, very progressive. I mean, not like normal. She's not a Democrat. I would call her a Democrat. She's like that, way off that. She's fucking just crazy, and she did it. And there you go. So represents, I guess, trans community getting involved in the whole ugly mess shooting thing. But here's my point. It got me interested. I was like, man, programming tells me that all mass shootings are just middle-aged white guys who are Trump supporters, right? That's kind of the thought. Whose dad is this? Whose red hat wearing dad is shooting up the mall in Tampa? That's what we think. I mean, that's kind of, where I have to stop myself from going when I hear these things. It started out in the beginning, it was Arabs, right? It was all, it's Arabs. It's Muslim terrorism. They're shooting up the mall. But then it turned out to just be like a bunch of laid off truckers. We're like, God damn, America's broken. There's that. There were a number of those. But that ain't been lately, man. That has not been lately. Let me tell you, DEI mass shootings are taking hold. So look at this. So I got this list. I did a little research on this. I was like, let's go through the last few mass shootings in America and let's see who the perpetrators were. Because, again, programming. This show is about getting rid of the fucking programming, the thoughtless things that we say. Nickelback is the worst band ever is a great example. They're not the worst band ever. We just say things because we don't think about stuff, and we say it and someone smart said it and we repeat it, and now we want people to think we're smart. That's programming. It's a shortcut. So programming tells us that, the mass shooters are all white dudes. Here we go. Let's go back for the 2025. Let's start 2025. We had a mass shooting in Shiloh, Pennsylvania. It was the UPMC Memorial Hospital shooting. A man opened fire at the UPMC Memorial Hospital, killing police officers and injuring 5 others before police killed him. All right. That's a Mexican. Mexican guys! Mexican mass shooters represent. Not a white guy. New Orleans, Louisiana, January 1st. Remember this, the 2025 New Orleans truck attack. A Texas man. We're like, look at us. We got one of these red hat MAGA guys. No, he was a radical black Muslim. Radical black Muslim, not a white guy. Not a white guy doing this one. Let's go back to 2024. Back in December of 2024 in Madison, Wisconsin, there was the Abundant Life Christian School shooting. A 15-year-old opened fire with a handgun inside the Abundant Life Christian School, killing 3, injuring 6. That was a 15-year-old girl. Girls getting involved. Girls are getting involved. We got trans. We got Mexican. We got, what else did we have? We had a little girl. November 10th, 2024, Tuskegee, Alabama. I don't even count. This is a backyard party, black dudes. Okay, but we're not counting that. That's gang violence. I'm sorry. We have to go all the way back to November 4th, 6 mass shootings ago. We have to go all the way back to November 7th, 2024 in Duluth, Minnesota, when we get our first white guy who killed his whole family. 2024 Duluth, Minnesota shootings. A man killed 4 of his family members after traveling to 2 homes and injuring 4 others before he killed himself. He's a straight up Minnesota white guy. That dude right there. He's like 30 something. That maybe fits the programming. Let's see here. November 1st, remember Orlando, Florida? It was the Halloween. Remember on Halloween where the dude opened fire in the middle of the street in Orlando or in Orlando on Halloween night? Yeah, that was a black kid. 17-year-old black kid did that. And then here's another one. Bringing up the rear, September 7th, 2024. The last really big one that we were all paying attention to for an extended period of time. The Laurel County, Kentucky internet shootings. Remember the dude that was shooting people? All right, that's your MAGA guy. All right, that guy, that's your MAGA guns, all of that. He was worried about the election. Apparently, he thought Kamala was going to win, and he went a little nuts. So there you go. You have to go all the way back 8 mass shootings ago, really, to find your prototypical MAGA crazy white man who loves guns. All the other ones, you guys, have been a wide variety of people. The problem with gun violence in this country has nothing to do with the individual's politics. It has to do with, obviously, some sort of mental health and access to guns. And that's all we're saying. Moving on. It ain't about voting for Trump. It ain't about this or that. It's just about crazy people people with access to guns. All right, let's move on. Let's do some birthdays. Birthdays here. We like to talk about people who are celebrating their birthday today, and we decide whether or not we like them, and we wish them a happy birthday, or they suck. And if that's the case, then we just move on. Born on this day in 1921, Phil Chess. Phil Chess, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Chess is one of the founders with his brother, Abraham. No, who's the other one? Phil. They founded Chess Records. Chess Records is one of the most important record labels in American history. It was foundational, released the very first rock and roll single. Do you guys know what the very first rock and roll single released in America was, or what is considered? See, this is hard because there are a lot of songs that people are like, no, that was actually rock and roll. I think Hollywood and programming will tell you that the very first rock and roll single was Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley. How great. It's even got rock in it. Well, that shouldn't be a disqualifier because the actual first rock and roll single ever released was a song called Rocket 88. And that was released on the Chess label. Chess was very early into rock and roll, but they're most and best known for their history in their collection and their incredible library of blues, electric blues, and R&B. Chess Records, Phil Chess, born on this day. Gotta get my eagle back. I lost my eagle. It'll make me wait 10 seconds. Incidentally, Phil Chess, or Leonard, that's it, Leonard. It was Leonard and Phil Chess, the two Chess brothers. The inspiration for the character of on The Sopranos, I can't think of the character, the Jewish character who was an advisor to Tony, an old friend to Tony's father. I can't remember, what did they call him? But he was like sort of a Jewish gangster adjacent former record company guy who was famous for stealing all the royalties from black artists. Yeah, that's Phil Chess. That's happy birthday or not. Born on this day in 1959, Andrew Ferris from INXS. INXS, great band. Great band, man. Great band. I love INXS. I think they are one of the most underrated rock bands of all time. The INXS catalog, especially if you go deep. Like if you go to before, like I'm talking about albums like Shabu Shaba, before Kick, before Listen Like These. And I'm not sitting here telling you there is anything wrong with those albums. Those albums are awesome. Don't get me wrong. But the earlier stuff, man, the early one, just before they really broke big, man, Don't Change. Don't Change is one of the great rock songs of all time. Loved it my whole life. And I introduced my son to it, my 15-year-old son. Sight unseen, doesn't know who it is, just listening to music. He's like, this song's great. I love INXS. INXS is a great band. Happy birthday to Andrew Ferris, and I'm very sorry about, it'll never be the same. INXS will never be the same. I don't care who they got out there being the lead singer now. Michael Hutchence was the lead singer, and we'll always have those albums. So, INXS. Oh, my son also, he texted me. I thought, I love this. So I told you that last weekend, my kid and I, we were watching movies, and I make my kid watch movies that he otherwise wouldn't watch. Part of his cultural education. And we watched Saturday Night Fever. Now, we watched Saturday Night Fever because my son, organically, on his own, through his life as a teenager in America in 2025, discovered the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, the Bible of disco, right? He just suddenly, apparently, some new hip-hop guy has remade the whole thing, or remade Night Fever, I don't know, whatever. He really liked it. And then he went to the source material and he started listening to like Saturday Night Fever. I'm telling you, my kid is not a dope. Okay. My kid, I could very easily see him being a music critic or a music writer or whatever. He's really, really into music. And I'm very proud of that because I consider that to have been one of my contributions to his upbringing, making sure that he appreciates culture and creation and artistry and things that don't exist. And then a human who was born just like him went, I got an idea, and now it exists, right? That's like the most amazing thing that I think that anyone with a brain, can truly understand and embrace. The idea that we have that superpower to create something that never existed before, whether it was a song, whether it's a story, whether it's a piece of art, or whether it's a fucking podcast. It doesn't matter. Creation knows no limits. So anyway, to that end, my kid, he texted me the other day, because remember, we're watching Saturday Night Fever. And after Saturday Night Fever, I said to him, I go, there's a better soundtrack. Not a better soundtrack. I go, there's another soundtrack out there that I'd like you to listen to. There's another soundtrack out there that I think you might dig. So I introduced him to Valley Girl, the movie Valley Girl, and the Valley Girl soundtrack, which I believe is the greatest soundtrack of all time. But that's only because of a generational bias. It hit me when I'll take arguments from people who want to talk about, Dirty Dancing or Saturday Night Fever or Grease. But, for me, it's the movie Valley Girl is the coolest soundtrack ever assembled. So in order to get him into it, I made him listen to the Plimsolls song, A Million Miles Away, which I think is the best song on that album. Now, that album also has Electric Avenue and Who Can It Be Now and a whole bunch of really great 80s songs. But A Million Miles Away was the one that I really wanted him to like. And so I played it for him, and he wasn't really into it. And you got to get the kids at the right time. And he's like, yeah, okay. He's like, yeah, I can dig that. And then like 5 days later, I get a text from him, and he goes, Dad, I've been walking around school all day singing A Million Miles Away. That's a victory. That's a victory. And I said, what did I tell you? He's like, I had to come do it on my own. I go, that's a great song, Dad. I go, I know it is. Plimsolls, A Million Miles Away. It's a great song. And In Excess is good too. Happy birthday, Andrew Ferris. Born on this day in 1963. We're going to get into this. I didn't even put a draft together because I wanted to do it with you folks live on the air. I mean, I could probably do a draft off the top of my head because he is my second or third favorite filmmaker of all time. I say second or third because we all know Stanley Kubrick is my guy. Kubrick, greatest filmmaker that ever lived. But number two or number three, it's depending on how I feel. It's Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino, our birthday boy. Quentin Tarantino, I don't know. There are so many possible, what is the best film that Quentin Tarantino has ever made? Would it be easier to do what is the worst film that Quentin Tarantino has ever made? If we're doing that, what's the worst film Quentin Tarantino ever made? That's easy for me. That's Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown is the worst Quentin Tarantino movie ever made. And it also is in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. So that ought to tell you, how much I admire Quentin Tarantino's work. But I thought about this because I started to do the list and I'm like, should I do a draft? And I'm like, there are so many. Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, man. You top three Reservoir Dogs for sure because it was his first. And it was the movie that I saw in the music box. I had to drive all the way up to the north side of Chicago. I had to drive all the way up to the north side of Chicago to go to the one independent movie theater in Chicago that was showing this film called Reservoir Dogs that everybody at my stupid art college was talking about. So I went, and it leveled me. I had never seen a film like that. So Reservoir Dogs deserves a place. But his best film, Quentin Tarantino's best film was his last film. Quentin Tarantino's best film is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. As the years roll by, everyone knows that Strangelove, Dr. Strangelove from Stanley Kubrick is my favorite movie of all time. Goodfellas is often, there at second place. But man, the more I've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood now a number of times. And also it has to do with my son. My son loves that movie. Me and him, like, we can pop that on anytime. You know, if there's nothing on, we'll just pop that on and we'll just start reciting scenes and all that. We love that movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. So that's my number one. That's easily my number one. But where do you slot something like Inglourious Bastards? You know, how do you make a list of Quentin Tarantino movies? I don't think you can. Quentin Tarantino, born on this day in 1963. He says he's making one more movie. One more movie. He's going to give us one more. To that same end, another one of my favorite filmmakers, P.T. Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson. He's making a new movie. He's got a new one that's coming out, so I'm very excited about that. We'll talk about that soon because I love my Paul Thomas Anderson. So Quentin Tarantino's last movie was supposed to be called The Critic or something, and it was supposed to be an expose on the way critics review movies. You know, not a documentary. It was going to be a real movie with actors about, the world of being a film critic. And it wasn't going to be like a trash piece from Quentin Tarantino because, as Quentin Tarantino said himself when he announced this film, he said, the critics love me. I've got no beef with critics. I go, you think this is just going to be some bitter movie guy making a movie about how awful critics are? He goes, I owe everything to the critics. The critics are the ones who elevated me. So it was going to be a really interesting sort of look at how critics work and how movies fail based on, critical reaction. So that was very exciting. And that was slated to be Quentin Tarantino's final film. Unfortunately, he pulled the plug on it. He said that could not come up with a way to make his vision, come across. So I don't know. He's moving on to something else. But Quentin Tarantino tells us he's got one more movie in him, and we'll be there to see it when it happens. All right, here we go. This is the fun part. All right, let's do this now. Hold on. Wait a second. We'll talk a little about Tarantino. I'm fine with that. Who do we got? We got Electronic Outcast in the chat room. Hi, EO. I'm going to call you EO. EO says the only Tarantino movies I've seen are the two Kill Bill movies. Where do you put those? Those fucking movies are incredible testaments to what Quentin Tarantino can do. Wow. Where do you put those? Incredible. Let's see here. Barney's got an opinion, and he may not be wrong. Barney says Reservoir Dogs is the best Tarantino movie I've seen, but I haven't seen them all. That's a good pull, dude. Reservoir Dogs is up there. Again, number one is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because it may in fact be my number 2 favorite movie of all time, and in a few years it may be my number 1. I don't know. We'll see. So my number 1 is going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So good. So crazy. It's a really enjoyable movie about the Charles Manson murders. If you thought that could ever happen, that you could be entertained by the story of the Manson family. All right. That's the best one. I also like Inglourious Bastards, though. Killing Nazis. The Bear Jew. Oh my God, Inglourious Bastards. It's my second favorite war movie. I know that. My first favorite war movie is, of course, Full Metal Jacket. Come on, I'm a Kubrick guy. You think I'm not going to say Full Metal Jacket is my favorite war movie? Number 2 is Inglourious Bastards. So number 2 on my Quentin Tarantino list is going to be Inglourious Bastards. Let's see. What else do we have here? Peter says Steelers Wheel and several of those older I know Jerry Rafferty for sure is grateful for Tarantino. Yeah. I mean, that was that was one of the just mind-blowingly cool things about sitting in a theater watching Reservoir Dogs. I remember I was with a girl and there was no funny business, because we were from go. We were like, oh, we got to pay attention to this movie. But the music in Reservoir Dogs, the unique song choices that Quentin Tarantino chose. Quentin Tarantino decided for the soundtrack of Reservoir Dogs, his first independent film, that he would use all of these one-hit wonders from the 1970s. Not because it would sound super cool in the movie, but because it's all they could afford. They couldn't afford like things from the Rolling Stones catalog or something. So he went back and he decided to make it a part of the movie where the narration throughout Reservoir Dogs was we're listening to the radio station, the 70s super hits radio station in Los Angeles. We're listening to it in the background as the movie Reservoir Dogs unfolds. And all of the music that is being played is incredible. Who's the DJ? Another trivia question. Oh boy, we're doing trivia now. Peter, if you're so smart, in the film Reservoir Dogs, who is the DJ? There's one DJ throughout the whole movie, and I remember thinking, how long is this dude's air shift? There's one DJ throughout the whole movie, and he's a famous guy, and he's probably the worst possible choice to be a, hey, rock and roll DJ. Leave that out there. I'll see if anybody knows that. Adam says, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably his worst movie, in my opinion, and I enjoy it. There you go. There's Adam. Adam can't help himself. He's gonna take a fucking shit on things, and he's gonna make you regret feeling free and happy because, you know, he's got an opinion that is he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to say, yeah, your favorite is my least favorite, fucker. Right? That's Adam. That's why we keep him around. Keeps us honest. All right, we'll move on from Quentin Tarantino. Happy birthday! Adam Reyna, there he goes. He says the DJ in Reservoir Dogs on the Super 70s radio station there in Los Angeles sounds like Stephen Wright. You'll be right. It is Stephen Wright. Sorry, Peter. Adam got in first. And coincidentally, Peter answered after Adam publicly posted. So, you know, I don't know if you cheated or not. All right, let's get started. Here we go. Where are we at? We're doing birthdays. And what we want to do here in this birthday segment, it's now time for us to do our Kiss, Marry, Kick. This is a good one. I like this one. Kiss, Marry, Kick is my sanitized version. Not sanitized for, you know, reasons of fear or they'll get in trouble. No, sanitized because I'm just tired of the vulgarity. He said. Kiss, Marry, Kick. It's kind of like Fuck, Marry, Kill, right? Or Kick. What, is that what it was? F, Marry, Kill. Yeah, F, Marry, Kill, the Howard Stern game. It's too vulgar. I like to do Kiss, Marry, Kick. We're going to make out hard with one of these birthday girls. Oh, we're going to have one night stand. And whatever that entails. I don't know what kind of game you got. Let's see. That's up to you in your head. One night stand. That's the kick. The kiss. Marry, we know what that is. Someone we're going to spend the rest of our life with. We're going to produce children with. Someone that we think is a quality individual. And then, of course, the third choice is kick. Which one are we going to kick to the curb? We're just going to be like, you know what? I'm sorry, sweetie, but you're going to have to go. All right, let's do it. We call it Kiss, Marry, Kick. Born on this day in 1963. And again, the rules here are, because sometimes it's women from different eras. It's whatever their apex moment was, whenever they were at their best, right? So if, you know, if we're going to do like, so Cleopatra versus Raquel Welch, right? It's not Cleopatra now. A mummy, a mummified carcass. No, Cleopatra when she was this supposed legendary, whatever. Okay, you get it. So first one we're going to talk about here, born on this day in 1963, is a Brazilian actress, singer, businesswoman, and super famous television presenter. She became quite the thing globally in the 1980s and early 1990s when she was doing a global television show for children, and she was basically behaving like a porn star. That's right. Happy birthday to legendary Brazilian television host, XuXa. XuXa. You guys remember XuXa? XuXa was funny. XuXa was on Arsenio Hall once, and she came out in like a bikini top, and it's like, wait, you're doing a show for kids? There she is. XuXa. Get a look at her. None of these are really as sexy as I remember. There's XuXa. All right, that's older XuXa. There she is in a little mini skirt or whatever, but she was very popular. She was overly sexy for 1987 for a show that was trying to appeal to 7 and 8 year old kids. All right, there you have it. Born on this day in 1963, the very sexy television host. What is it with Central and South America? In Mexico, do we count Mexico? Is Mexico North America or Central America? It's North America, right? It is. I know I'm stupid. It is. But I don't think of it that way. I don't think Mexico is like me and Canada. That's just how I am. I think they're different. So I put them in Central America, but they're not. They're North America. What is it with those people? And we're going to include the Mexicans. What is it with those people? And I applaud it. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for it because I'm not a prude. But what is it with those people, the Latins, with their over-sexualization of everything? Have you ever seen their news girls? Have you ever seen their weather girls? Have you ever seen Mexican weather girls? Of course you have. Of course you have. Anyway, XuXa, there we go. Born on this day in 1963, celebrating a birthday. She is going to be our first contestant in Kiss, Marry, Kick. We're going to move now to 1969. Born on this day in 1969. Okay, see, I told you this is going to be kind of difficult, kind of a weird thing. We're going to have to figure this one out. Born on this day in 1969. Ladies and gentlemen, how about the legendary... Hold on, I'm going to do this right. The legendary Mariah Carey. All right. Mariah Carey. So we got XuXa, the super hot, over-sexualized Mexican, Brazilian. Sorry. I'm a white guy, man. Let's call it Latin. Latin children's host, XuXa. All right. So we got XuXa and we've got Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey. Kiss, marry, kick. We're trying to determine which one of these people are we going to kiss? Which one of these people are we going to marry? Which one of these people are we going to kick to the curb? And again, just so we're clear, kiss, of course, means one night stand or whatever else you can get out of it. Because, it all depends on your level of game and confidence you have in yourself. Here we go. Born on this day in 1975. Is it 75? Yeah. Born on this day in 1975. There she is. Oh, no, we don't want Mariah Carey. Sorry. All right. Born on this day in 1975, the third contestant here in Kiss, Marry, Kick. Yeah, here you go. It's Fergie. Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas. Okay. So here's what we got to consider now. We got to figure which are we going to kiss, which are we going to kick to the curb, and which one are we going to marry. Our choices are XuXa, the crazy Mexican television host. That's not Mexican. Sorry, Jamie. Jesus, Jamie's so sensitive. Start calling you Jaime. Kiss, marry, kick. XuXa, the Latino, Brazilian, sexualized television host for kids. Fergie or Mariah Carey. All right, let's go. Let's figure this out. Let's go back to the chat room and see who we're going to make out hard with, who we're going to kick to the curb, and who we're going to spend the rest of our life with. Okay. Right off the top, I don't think XuXa speaks English very well. And that could be good. It could also be a real pain in the ass. All right, let's move on to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's got a whole lot of money. Could certainly take care of me in the manner of which I've become accustomed. She's got a whole lot of money. She's also pretty, I've always thought in the hot department that Mariah Carey was a little overrated. And of course, she's fucking nuts. That's another problem with Mariah Carey. So remember, all you got to do is just go look at the movie Glitter. Just go read about what happened during the movie filming for Glitter. Oh my God, Mariah Carey was nuts. So she's a problem. All right. And then we got Fergie. We got Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas. I got to remove. Sorry, man. All right. So Fergie, I've seen the Black Eyed Peas live. I've seen the Black Eyed Peas live from about 20 feet away. Watched them at the Grammys one year performing. I was standing, they were practicing. We were behind the curtain. I was watching them do their little routine. They were practicing like it was the show, but it wasn't. It was the Friday morning before. I also got to see U2 and Bruce Springsteen doing that. Yeah, that was cool. We're hiding behind the curtain. We're looking at them and they're working it up. Anyway, Fergie is a smoke show in real life. In real life. I always thought that Fergie was Smokey. I always thought, let's call her that. I always thought that Fergie was a bit of a Cleveland Brown, a bit of a butterface, because her body is undeniable, but I was always like, I don't know what's going on with the face. when you actually see her in real life, oh no, Fergie's good. So here's what we're doing. I'm going to kick XuXa to the curb. She's the Brazilian television show host. Although she is very attractive, I just think that the culture clash will be just something I can't spend the rest of my life with her. I'm gonna make out hard and have a one-night stand with Mariah Carey, just because I think that makes for good dinner conversation down the road. You know, I'll always be able to tell the story of my one-night stand with Mariah Carey, and I don't want to spend any more than one night with her because I think that she's a bit complicated and troublesome, if you know what I mean. So I'm kicking XuXa to the curb. I am going to hook up for one night with Mariah Carey, and yeah, I'm going to marry Fergie. I'm going to live on that Black Eyed Peas money. She's all right. She's fine. There we go. That's it. Kiss, marry, kick. Fergie, XuXa, and Mariah Carey, all born on this day. All right, let's go into the next category, the next segment. We call that Deads. These are people who've died on this day. We decide, knowing what we know about their lives, where'd they go? Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? Here we go, dead people. See, right out of the box here, dead people. What do we got? We got Milton Berle. We got Uncle Milty died on this day in 2002. Milton Berle was known for having a gigantic dick. Huge. The dudes from legendary Hollywood who supposedly have gigantic cranks. Forrest Tucker, he was very famous. He's like the one that they say had the biggest crank. Not that I mean, look, you hear these things when you know a lot of trivia. Forrest Tucker was the guy on F Troop. I don't know if you ever saw F Troop, but he was one of the dudes on F Troop. But then came Milton Berle, man. Milton Berle was legendary for his endowment. The Saturday Night Live movie. Did you see the new Saturday Night? I think it's called Saturday Night. It was just released a couple of months ago. It's pretty good. It's about the first night of Saturday Night Live. Well, Milton Berle is in that. Milton Berle, or a character, J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons plays Milton Berle. And there was a scene backstage at the very first Saturday Night Live where Milton Berle and a young Chevy Chase kind of get into it over Chevy Chase's girlfriend, because Milton Berle spots Chevy Chase's girlfriend, and Milton Berle is a superstar, and Chevy Chase is an absolutely nobody at this point. So Milton Berle tries to steal Chevy Chase's girlfriend, and in this scene, Milton Berle, after arguing with Chevy Chase for a few minutes, Milton Berle just whips his dick out and goes, "This is why." Milton Berle, dead on this day. Real piece of shit as a human being. He's in hell. Milton Berle, dead on this day in 2002. Also dead on this day in 2002. Wow, this is interesting. That day was a pretty sad day for comedy, although I don't consider Milton Berle funny. He's not funny. Milton Berle's not funny. Milton Berle's an asshole. Milton Berle is another one of these fucking guys who was standing near a camera when somebody turned it on and said, "Somebody stand in front of it." And then because of that, they became American icons because they were the first 5 guys on TV. And now we got to pretend like they had fucking talent, even though now we've got 60 years of people with immensely more talent who are totally forgotten. But no, let's keep talking about how great Milton Berle was. The fucker wasn't funny. Dead on this day in 2002, Milton Berle. But also dead on this day in 2002, another comic actor who was funny, who was brilliantly funny, who also wasn't a jerk, who was somebody who was known, was beloved. Everybody loved Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore died on this day in 2002, the same fucking day as Milton Berle. But I bet here in America, all we talked about was Milton Berle, the asshole, on that day. Arthur, you guys, first of all, do you remember when that fucking, what? I didn't even see it. Maybe I should before I go off on this rant. Do you remember when they remade Arthur with that fucking junkie lunatic Russell Brand? That fucking con man. Do you remember when they remade Arthur in like 2020 or something? Arthur was a film in 1980 that depicted how hilarious alcoholism is. That's the pitch. That's the pitch for Arthur. When they went into the movie offices to pitch the president of production, he said, "All right, tell me what this Dudley Moore movie's about." And somebody said, "It's about how funny alcoholism is." And in 1979 or 1980, that that studio guy went, let's make this movie. So I always thought there was no way that fucking Arthur could be made again. And then the Russell Brand thing came out, and I had just read some things about it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, Hollywood tried to remake Arthur, but they changed the whole point of the film. The thing that made Arthur with Dudley Moore a goddamn classic is because it made fun of alcoholism. And you couldn't do that anymore. You can't. Arthur was the funniest. Do you know that there used to be a really coveted comedic acting skill that nobody utilizes anymore? You know what that skill was? The drunk. Foster Brooks was a character actor in Hollywood who invented a character very early on for the dinner party circuit where he would pretend to be super fucking drunk. Okay. And that was his whole bit. The dude became a megastar in America as just a guy that was pretending to be drunk. We used to be, because drunk is funny, because alcoholism is funny, because life is complicated. You know what? A guy who's an alcoholic, yes, that's incredibly sad. And, you know, you think about what the impact on his family is and maybe his life overall. That's all incredibly sad. But you know what else? It's also funny when the drunk is being a drunk. Okay. So we need to be able to measure things, right? We need to be able to process everything all at once because shit's complicated. And people who laugh at a drunk who falls down is not a monster for not recognizing the trauma they're going through. All right? Compassion is important, but also shut the fuck up. Dudley Moore. Putting him in heaven. Absolutely. Without question. Dead on this day in 2016, Mother Angelica. Well, okay, I'll show you her. Because it's possible that, you know, people don't know who Mother Angelica is. Let me tell you something. Mother Angelica. Oh, my God. Hold on. I'm going to show you this chick. The minute I show her to you, you're going to go, oh, yeah, I know that chick. All right, here you go. Mother Angelica. What? That ain't it. I want images to inspire. I want Mother Angelica. Here we go. All right, here. This is Mother Angelica. Maybe this wasn't a thing in Texas. Maybe you guys didn't grow up with Mother Angelica. Oh, I don't want to do that. Mother Angelica was a Catholic nun who came on TV in the middle of the night and yelled at us for being drunk because she knew that like people were tuning in on Friday and Saturday nights. There she is. Look at her. Did you guys in Texas have her on TV late at night yelling at you for being drunk and eating fast food at 3 a.m? Oh, man, college, after college, you know, you'd come home, bars are closed, you go to your buddy's apartment and you got the funky coffee table and you're spreading out the late night, whatever, you know. In our case, it was probably Boback sausages and fries and maybe a pizza or something. And we're winding down from a night of drinking beer and talking shit and all the stuff that you do when you're 23. Sitting there on the couch eating, we pop it on, and this fucking bitch comes on. You better believe we're leaving it there, and I shit you not. She would like look into the camera, and she would say stuff like, I know what you did tonight. You were out there, and you were probably drinking and dancing. And we'd be like, yeah, we were, bitch. We're like, yeah. We'd all laugh, and it was fun. She was mean. She had a really mean attitude about her, and most of us were quite familiar with, look at her, pointing her finger. Look at her. She's like, you're going to hell, junkie. She's dead. There she is. She's dead. She might have been a nice woman, although my history with nuns tells me that was probably not the case. I am putting Mother Angelica directly in heaven for being a complete bitch on late night TV for years and years. There you go. Mother Angelica died on this day in 2016. I bet it's a shock for her. But it's a shock for her when, you know, the elevator starts going down. She's like, wait a second, this must be a mistake. And then some demon elevator operator is like, nah, you were a fucking judgmental bitch for years. You are going to hell. All right. That's going to do it. How about it? Look at us. We just came through our first 3 segments of today's show. How fun is that? Once again, I'd like to remind you that this show does run on your gratuity. So if you are so inclined, want to drop a little something, that'd be great. Appreciate you. Although I do want to remind you that next week is going to be Pledge Week. So I'm going to be hitting hard. I'll be shaking that fucking tin cat. I'll be shaking it. Come on, please, sir, please. Shaking my tin can. Hopefully that'll end soon. Let's get into all the things that are happening today, okay? Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, I want to see what people said about Mother Angelica. Because again, I don't know that Mother Angelica was nationwide. I know she wasn't just in Chicago. But man, she was great. Peter. All right. Peter says we had that weirdo broadcasting in Nevada, smoking a cigar, talking about whatever the F he wanted. Well, I'm going to need more to go on than that. I don't even know who that is. That means nothing to me, my guy. Sorry. Frankie says 6 years of Catholic school made me not hate nuns, even the mean ones. What the fuck is wrong? What? I don't even know what to do with that. 6 years of Catholic school made me not hate nuns, Frank says. 6 years of Catholic school made him not hate nuns. Frank, I love you, brother, but I don't know what to do with that information. I'm seriously having a fucking meltdown right now. 6 years of Catholic school, and you came out of that going, these nuns seem like nice people? Fuck. They're monsters. They're absolute demons. The ones that I was around. No, and don't give me no. Well, yours were just, screw that. These were sexually frustrated middle-aged women who got off on brutalizing children. That's who they are. I don't give a fuck that they've donated or given their lives up to Jesus or whatever. Fucking be nice to people. You're really mean. Oh. Fucking nuns. Are you out of your mind? Frank, come on, baby. What the fuck? Well, you know what? All I can say to that is I am glad that you had a good relationship with nuns. Frankie does all say that the nun lady was on television here in Texas. All right, very good. Thank you, Frankie. Appreciate that. Mikey D says that in Atlanta, they had this woman who was religious but wild. YouTube dick will make you slap him. I don't know what that means. I love you, Mikey D. No idea what you're trying to say, bro. Peter says Art Bell was on the radio and I was morphing them together. Yeah, Peter, you're like, I'm talking about religious broadcasting as paid programming in the late hours of the night on television. Now we're getting into some weed stuff that much as I love Peter, I'm going to have to pull the ripcord on that. All right, let's get started. All the things that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let's get started. All right, couple of news stories right off the top. Across the board, 25% tariffs on all automobiles not made in America. 25% tariff on all auto parts. So all you folks, now look, hey, let me tell you something. I drive myself a Chevrolet. Made right there in Detroit, Michigan. I bought American. Fortunately, my American-made Chevrolet is almost completely filled with Japanese parts. So when my American-made car breaks down, yeah, that's going to suck. Okay, but look, what I said from the beginning on all this, didn't vote for the guy, didn't vote for anybody last time. I sat that one out. But we have to, he says he's got a plan and he's going to do the plan. So we got to give the guy that won election his due. Let him do his plan. I'm not an economist, okay? I don't know how all this works. I just know that the market, as far as car products and car parts, is just filled with foreign. Do you know? First of all, American-made parts are expensive. They always were. And if you think that because the 25% tariff is now going to be added to all the cheaper Japanese and foreign cars, if you think that that's going to make the American guys bring their prices down, you don't understand American capitalism. No. What this 25% tariff is going to do is just make all cars fucking super expensive. Yay! But we're going to wait it out. We're going to wait it out and we're going to see. And also, the great thing about this guy is that tomorrow he might change his mind. Who knows? Tomorrow he's going to be like, yeah, never mind. Forgot about it. The other big news is Oops now has a name, Signalgate. Woohoo! Senate Armed Services Committee or whatever decided today that they are going to open up an investigation, and I'm all for it. Let's go. Let's find out what happened here with fucking dumb fuck gate. I mean, this is just dumb fuck gate. And also, just let me say this on it, okay? It's driving me nuts because people, when they talk about this, they're arguing two separate points, okay? There are two things that happened in Signalgate. One is fucking hysterical, okay? The other is scary, all right? The other is like, oh, shit, that's probably not what we should be doing. The thing that's fucking hysterical is what Mike Waltz did. But just dumb fuck. By the way, Mike Waltz, the director of national intelligence, whatever. They all have these bullshit made up names, these titles. If you're not a secretary, in my book, you're nobody. But Mike Waltz got a position of power and influence, so we're going to include him here. Mike Waltz is the guy that accidentally invited the reporter from the Atlantic into this, let's just say secret meeting. Let's say private meeting. We'll call it a private meeting because I don't want to make Byron's head explode. All right, so dumb fuck Mike Waltz has this dude from Jeffrey Goldbergstein's called whatever. You know me, I don't do this bullshit. I don't get involved. They're not celebrities to me, so I don't know their name, but whatever. So this Jeffrey whatever, let's call him Goldfarb, Jeffrey Goldfarb at The Atlantic, the editor of The Atlantic. He gets invited to this thing, and he's in there, and he's like, whoa. Now, one of the things that I love about Mike Waltz is Mike Waltz has been saying, I don't know, what is most important to Mike Waltz here seems to be that he has no idea how that dude's phone number got in his phone. I don't know how it was in there. I don't know. Apparently, the guy from The Atlantic who gets all the leaks from this administration, who really has been hammering this administration, apparently that guy's in my phone, and I have no idea how it's. Mike Waltz is a leaker, and he got fucking caught, and that is what he's most concerned about. Mike Waltz had in his phone the phone number, the direct line to a guy who is one of the biggest critics of this administration, who for years now has been dropping leak bombs on all things MAGA world. Well, now we know that Mike Waltz is one of them leakers. All right. So that's funny. That's hysterical. That's incompetence. And that's the absolute worst thing that, well, actually, I think the worst person they could have accidentally invited in was some, like terror group or something, something like that. That would have been the worst. But the second worst would have to be a deep left liberal reporter. And they did. And that's what Mike Waltz did. That's fucking hysterical. What Pete Hegseth did is a different thing. That's dangerous. That's scary that the Secretary of Defense is texting these kinds of details to these kinds of people, important people, over non-secured channels, over something that I right now can download onto my phone. Signal, something drug dealers use. When you buy pot from a dude in 2025, you use Signal. You text your pot dealer through, you text your Coke dealer, you text your whatever dealer. And I like it. The news is trying to clean it up. They're like, Signal is, most primarily used by reporters. Yeah, reporters contacting their Coke dealers. That's who use Signal. So it's fucking stupid, man. And the idea that, they're going around, nothing happened, there's nothing wrong. No, it just, what it does is it just shows us that you're not serious people. It just shows us that, you're not, it used to be something like this would be put in a memo. And it would be whatever, I don't know, classified, top secret, whatever they would do. And then it would be dispersed very discreetly to the people who need to be briefed on what was going on. But now we've got phones and apps and people are on the go. And, Pete Hegseth was probably at the gym. So he couldn't, I'm going to text this at the gym or whatever the fuck these people are doing. Doing this shit over fucking Goddamn, I'm surprised Trump and Putin aren't talking on Facebook Messenger. Is this the level? That's fucked up. What Hegseth did was fucked up, and there needs to be an investigation to it. What Waltz did was just hysterical. What Waltz did was just stupid. He fucked up. He did something dumb. And because he fucked up and did something dumb, we were all treated to the realization that something really fucking scary is happening with these buffoons. All right, there we go. That's going to do it. That's all I got on Oopsgate. I don't want to talk. It's not going away. Oh, it is not going away. We've got now a Republican-led Senate doing a deep dive investigation into it. That's something they didn't want to have happen. The first thing that I think is going to happen is Trump is going to fire Waltz because somebody is going to have to get fired. This is not going away. And Republicans are leading the charge in a lot of these circles. I'll give you an example. I mean, some of the quotes from, die-hard conservative, powerful Republicans in the Senate and in the House are all kind of like, what the fuck? Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn told reporters on Monday that it sounds like a huge screw-up. He then adds, I mean, is there any other way to describe this? That's John Cornyn, conservative, right-wing senator from Texas. Thank you, Senator Cornyn, for at least being fucking honest. We can all move past it if you're just fucking honest. Let's see here. Republican Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski. Now, I know she's one of the fringes in your whole Republican MAGA world or whatever. She's still a Republican. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski told news outlet Semaphore, think about what we would do if Biden were president and this came out. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Republican Lisa Murkowski. Thank you for pointing that out, because I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of libtards who've been screaming that as well. Let's see here. Goes on. Montana Senator Tim Sheehy says it's going to be interesting to see if anybody loses their job over this. Tim Sheehy said somebody fucked up. Much of the blame has been apportioned to Waltz, who Goldberg said was the official who added him to the group. Mike Waltz has taken full responsibility, but again, not for the thing that is really the problem. Mike Waltz, I'm taking full responsibility for this. Now stop shielding the defense secretary who couldn't get off the fucking treadmill to go into a skiff in the Pentagon and have a real meeting like real serious people. Mike Waltz, I take full responsibility for this. The president threw a fucking staffer under the bus. The president knows nothing. Why, for a guy who's in charge of everything, he seems to know absolutely fucking nothing about this. And then the president of the United States goes, I don't know, it was some staffer connected, it was probably some staffer. The president of the United States just fucking caused a 21-year-old Washington staffer to jump off a roof. What the fuck, man? You're throwing a kid under the bus? You asshole. Just take fucking response. President of the United States needs to go, this is a screw up. We'll get to the bottom of it. We're going to find out exactly what went on here, because this obviously can't happen. That's what the president needs to say. Not, I don't know. I didn't do nothing. Some kid did it. Let's fucking kill the kid. Please. Please. Stop it. It's also fucking ugly. It's also fucking just admit it. Pete Hegseth, no war plans. I'm going to say it again. Fuck you, dude. We're looking at the text. The Atlantic, the war plans are right there. You're giving times. You're telling locations, not exact, not coordinates and all that, because none of those fucking dumb fucks on that feed needed to know that stuff. But he talked about the apartment of the girlfriend of the guy. We're going to bomb that. I mean, fuck, man. It's just so stupid. Get in your fucking skiff, man. A skiff is a room throughout Washington and all of these buildings where top secret discussions are held. They are impenetrable by any kind of outside listening devices or anything like that. There are skiffs everywhere in Washington buildings, okay? You can find one. Unless, of course, you're in the middle of a really good 30-minute workout and you just can't stop it. Not serious people. Once again. So I think Hegseth needs to be fired. I think he needs to be fired, and I think Mike Waltz needs to be fired. I think both of those guys need to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. For no other reason at this point, then we got to move on. We got to move on. This is the kind of shit that is going to follow Hegseth as defense secretary his entire term. We got to move on. Just admit you fucked up. We move on. What do we fucking care? Throw another guy that the liberals are going to fucking hate there at the defense, right? So whoever the next defense secretary is going to be, it's going to be somebody people are going to hate just as much as Hegseth, so don't worry about it. You're going to get another hated guy in there, at least by libs. And let's move on. All right. How about this one? I like this story. Did you know that there's a possibility that because of the way that these new rules are being written and the new Melania could be in line to be deported? The First Lady of the United States is in line. She meets the qualifications for maybe not complete deportation, but why don't you come on down to our offices here in Washington, D.C., and let's have a chat about your status, your legal status, Melania. That's funny. That kills me. Here's another thing I like. Okay, here's a video. I want to show you guys this video. This video is going around virally today. This is beautiful. It's my girl. It's my girl, Kristy Noem. Man, I'm attracted to her. I don't even know what she is. What is she? What is she? Secretary of fucking Farms and Bow Evils? What is Kristy Noem? I don't even know. She interior? What is she doing? Because she's doing a whole lot of like, I'm getting all the Mexicans out. You know, she's doing that shit. Looking good doing it, man. I'm telling you, that's these people. I'll give these people credit. They really put a lot of onus on the optics. They like to put out a good looking. I mean, ever since Sarah Sanders, remember Trump never liked Sarah Sanders because, you know, he wanted a hot chick. And then they get rid of Sarah Sanders and then they bring in Kayleigh McEnany and we're all like, yeah, that's better. If we're going to do something stupid that's going to cause the end of the world, I prefer that this broad tell me about it. Kayleigh McEnany. Now we got this new one. This new one who somebody so appropriately referred to as fuckable Amy Schumer. Whoever the new White House press secretary is, she's fuckable Amy Schumer. That's it. I think that's perfect. She looks like Amy Schumer's super hot sister. But Kristy Noem, she's a whole nother thing. Kristy Noem did some staged fucking these people. I mean, they're great. They know showbiz. Kristy Noem did this staged thing where she is standing in front of a whole bunch of incarcerated migrants, gang. I don't know what they are. Look at me. It's me and MS-13. I don't know what it is. Bunch of scary looking dudes with neck tats in a jail cell behind her. And she's standing there and she's speaking in front of them. And one of the dudes went to jerk off right in the middle of her. We're locking all these people up. Look. You know, and then the one dude, I'll show it to you. They edited it, but you can see what's about to happen. Dudes are in jail. How long have they been in jail? Is that the factor? Like, I don't know. I'd have to be in jail like 20 years before I would just like whip it out and start like just right there like some madman. I'd have to be in jail 20 years. How long have these people been in jail? That this guy's like, oh man, I can't control myself. All right, let's give it a watch. This is Kristy Noem. This is a video. Now they edited it, remember? So I'm going to show you where it starts to happen and then you're going to see the quick edit. I got to see the found footage of this, okay? I can't share that, sorry. That's my notes. Those are my notes. You just got to see what the notes look like. All right, we call this video Jerking It with Kristy. And here you go. Super hot, somebody something. Is that it? When I say somebody something, that's because I don't know. What is she the secretary of? All right, here we go. Super hot, secretary of something. Secretary of hotness. Kristy Noem. What the fuck? Seriously. Sorry. I'm having a little difficulty here with my computer at the moment. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to have to pause it. Oh man, look at her. This is like somebody important. You know, she looks like she's next up on the main stage. You know, she's like next up on the main stage. Kristy, the governor coming to the main stage. All right, you can see here. can see here, she's got all these dudes back here, right? She's got us standing there. She's talking about, I don't even know what she's talking about. I didn't even hear it. I was just watching the dudes. All right, so she's got all these dudes behind them. They're all locked up. They're all being very well behaved. I wonder if they gave each and every one of these guys a little, I don't know, sedative snack before they trotted in old Kristy Noem. Seriously, we have a woman in Washington who is a head of a department who is as hot as all the porn stars. That's not something that I ever thought I would see. All right, so here you go. Let's watch this. Here's the guy you're watching. This dude right here, front and center.
Today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El
Wait, I want to make sure I can pause it. Okay.
Salvador and their president.
All right, now what you're going to do, remember, you're watching this guy. You don't give a shit what she says. It doesn't matter. She doesn't even know what she's saying. This guy right here, you're going to watch him. He's going to crane his head, and he's going to look to his right. Once he starts to look to his right, that's like he's looking around.
For their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have prepared.
What's up with these dudes wearing masks? Why do some of these dudes back there, why are they wearing like Corona masks? It's fucking members of MS-13, but they're also, responsible citizens? What the fuck? Why are they wearing masks?
Perpetuated in our communities.
All right, here he goes. He just looked. See how he just looked? All right, here we go. This is good. All right, see him right now, this guy? See, he's looking around. He's like, all right, getting kind of horny. That shirt's fitting her kind of tight.
I also want everybody to know, if you come to our...
What? Okay, here we go. He's getting ready to touch himself. Now, I'm sure he's not going to whip it out. I'm sure he's just going to put his hand down there, and he's just going to, Now watch. You got to see this because it's very interesting how this happens. All right, there he goes. Oh, did you see the edit? They edited that quick. Hold on, one more time. You'll see his hand. Here we go.
In our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country...
And cut!
I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences.
One more time.
First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be
looking around,
and you will be prosecuted. But no,
I guess, did he already do it? No, there he goes. He's looking around.
We will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
He's looking around again. Oh, I guess that's it. All right. Anyway, there you have it. Respect to that guy. I mean, I get the motivation. I think I'd have a little more control over my sexuality and all that stuff. But there you go. Kristy Noem. You know what that guy was doing, and they cut it. And God, I gotta see how far he went. Like, did somebody yell cut? Right? Because that very well could have been the thing. Like somebody could cut, Kristy, stop. What are you doing, Pedro? And he's like, nothing. What are you doing, Pedro? We see you. We see you, Pedro. I know she's hot and you got a nice back view. You're in the front row. I understand. Sometimes you're being what it is. All right, let's go. What else do we have? Oh, let's do baseball. It's opening day. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Hold on. It is opening day of the baseball season. I will be giving my opening day predictions. You might notice that one of our people here, one of our guys in the chat room, they're missing today. They're not there because CC of the Sports Bras, CC is out there at the game, and he was going to be getting some tape. He's doing some stuff, and we'll be recording some of our Shock House Dallas material on Sunday afternoon here. So he's out there doing some stuff. I want to talk about what's happening with CC, so I'm going to call him here, but I'm going to make sure that he's okay to talk about this. So here we go from the chat room with a report from opening day. It's going to be CC of the Sports Bras. If he answers, he may not even answer because I didn't clear this with him. People in the chat room, let me know if you can hear him. I want to make sure that we get him.
Your call has been forwarded to voice.
That's what happens. That's what happens. He's going to the game with somebody very interesting. And I wanted to kind of talk to him about what's going on here and why he's going to the game with this particular person. But so maybe he'll call back. And if he does, that's fine. All right, let's not delay. I'm going to give you my predictions for the baseball season, right? You know, I'm a big baseball dork. My team was the White Sox. I abandoned them last year. Thankfully, it was the year they set the record for the most losses by any Major League Baseball team in history. And I didn't watch a single game yesterday. I knew what that season was going to be. I witnessed the teardown in the offseason, and I said, nope. I have very little faith that this season for my White Sox will be any better. Let me put it to you this way. I'm shaking when I say this. Since the start of spring training, the Chicago White Sox have lost 6 pitchers to Tommy John surgery. 6! The entire fucking rotation! There's our guy. Hey, CC!
What's up, buddy?
All right, wait a second. I gotta make sure the people in the chat room can hear this. Make sure that you're going out. Okay, hold on. So that's the phone. There you go. All right, speak up. CC, of course, of the Sports Bras and a proud member of Radio Misfits Dallas and the Dallas Shock House. Are you at the game right now?
I just walked into the ballpark right now.
How are your seats?
We are in right field, right by the foul pole.
Okay, who are they playing? You know, I just realized that. I'm not even sure who they're opening with. Who are they playing?
The Boston Red Sox.
Oh, boy. Boy. Now, I'm about to do my Major League Baseball predictions for the season. I'm going to pick all the division winners, and I'm going to tell you who's going to win the World Series. And you might want to pay attention, folks, because 2 years ago I did this, and I told you the Texas Rangers would be the World Series champions, and they were. So we're going to do that again. Boston. I mean, I like Baltimore in the East, but Boston versus Texas in Game 1, you're seeing Apex Major League Baseball.
Yes, we are.
Very good. Now, screw all that. Who are you at the game with? If you don't, I'm cold call. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But I have some questions that I didn't ask you yesterday because I knew I would ambush you today.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I am with the Eds.
So he is going to a baseball game with your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend?
Girlfriend.
Okay. So what I said to him yesterday when he told me this, because he was like, I'm going, like there's some shame in it. There's no shame in, hanging out with an ex, especially if you guys get along. But like, is she really an ex, or is this like,
Oh, yeah. No, she is.
What, she get real fat or something? I mean, why would she suddenly be an absolute ex?
No, just a little cuckoo.
Okay, cuckoo, but sometimes comes up with good game tickets, right?
Right, yeah.
Right, because that's we're burying the lead. These are her tickets, right? She's taking you. You're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not pay for these. She did.
All right, can we talk to her?
She is somewhere around here. I don't know where she went.
Of course. All right, man. I just wanted to check in with you. I know the game starts long after that. We'll be done here, but out there, have yourself a hell of a time. I love that ballpark, man. That is one of the most incredible ballparks in Major League Baseball. Not that I've been to them all, but I've been to a lot.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And roof status, the roof is open. The roof is open. All right. Thank you, brother. There he goes. That's CC from the Sports Bras. He's there at the game with his ex-girlfriend because his ex-girlfriend called him and said, you want to go to the game? And, he's a whore for that kind of stuff. I wanted to talk to her. That's okay. All right. Let's get back into it. Major League Baseball opening day predictions. Okay, I'm going to run through the different leagues, the different divisions. We'll start with the American League. Let's go to the American League East. I got the Orioles. That's right, the Orioles coming out of the American League East. Pugs, what do you say? Well, I say that I have incredible faith in the abilities now and the future abilities of Adley Rutschman. I think that he's the best catcher in baseball, and I think that his future is going to be incredible. So I love the Baltimore Orioles. I love what they've done with their rebuild, and I love that team. I've got the Boston Red Sox chasing them down, though. AL East winner, Orioles. over Boston. In the Central, that's my division. I got the Tigers. A lot of people are saying the Kansas City Royals. I'm going Tigers coming out of the Central. Again, it's another rebuild that I think is coming together beautifully. I got the Tigers in the AL Central over the Kansas City Royals. In the AL West, ooh, here we go. Fuck, you kidding me? Rangers. Of course I got the Rangers. I got the Rangers being able to hold off Seattle to win the American League West. American League wildcard teams. Okay, here are the teams that I think are going to be making the wild card. We got 2 from the East and we got 1 from the West. I got the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Mariners all making the wild card. Who's coming out of the American League? I'm not kidding. Book it. Put your money on it. Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers are coming out of the American League this year. That team from 2 years ago wasn't a fluke, you guys. It wasn't a fluke, you guys. It's about health. It's about all kinds of other things. As long as you got Bruce Bochy, as long as you've got... Come on. I don't want to get into it. I got fixed. I just noticed I got distracted. I got to fix my eagle. My eagle went away. There we go, bitch. All right. Coming out of the American League, your Texas Rangers. Another trip to the World Series. So very excited. Let's move over to the National League on this, the opening day of Major League Baseball season. I've got in the NL East, I've got the Braves holding off the Mets. Yeah, I think that Steve Cohen's giant billionaire play, his grand dream, I think it will eventually pay off. I just don't think it'll be this year. And I think the Atlanta Braves will hold off the New York Mets to win the National League East. National League Central. Fuck! Chicago Cubs. Oh, God! Cubs are going to win the National League Central, but then they're not going to win a playoff game. But they will, I believe that the Chicago Cubs will probably be able to hold off the Milwaukee Brewers and win the National League Central. There you have. National League West, Dodgers. It's starting close. Dodgers. You get any question? Who's going to win this? Dodgers. Who's going to win that? Dodgers. Who's going to win? Dodgers. So what does that do? That brings us to the National League wild card. National League wild card teams, I'm going with the Phillies out of the East. I'm going with the Mets out of the East. And this one might be, I don't think it's too crazy. I like what they're doing, and I wouldn't sleep on them. Arizona Diamondbacks. I got the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the New York Mets coming out of the National League for wild card berths this season. I've got your National League champion, Dodgers, of course. So what does that mean? I am predicting a World Series this year between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Texas Rangers. Huzzah! You ready for my final prediction? Los Angeles Dodgers win the World Series. I'm sorry. I just think it's their year. I think that they have bought the best team. And unlike when the Yankees seem to try and buy the best team, Los Angeles seems to maybe do it better. I don't know. But holy shit. Yeah, I think I think the Texas Rangers are the second best team in baseball this year. I really do. But I also think that the Dodgers are just a little bit too far ahead of everybody. So there you have it. Opening day. My opening day prediction. Los Angeles Dodgers will win the World Series. Put all your money on it. I'm good at these things. Trust me. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Next thing we're going to talk about here. Nope. Don't want to do that. We did that. Oh, here's something interesting. So Bill Gates of Microsoft, he sat down. Let's see here. Adam says Ringer Gambling Guy has Arizona as sneaky pick to win the NL for plus 650. Yeah, $5-10. Why not? You drop that now, and then in October, maybe you get a windfall? Yeah, man. That's a fun play. Of course, we can't do that here in Texas because freedom. Can't do that in Texas. We can't just pick up our phone and go, oh, really? Adam says that it's plus 650 for the Diamondbacks to sneak in. Let me put $5 on that. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun thing for me to have in the back of my head all baseball season long because freedom, We can't do that here in Texas. They can do that everywhere else. Remember, these oppressive sons of bitches in this state, they keep trying to tell you, we're the freest state in the country. Texas stands for freedom. Meanwhile, we can't do fucking anything here. Anything here that they can do in all the goddamn libtard states. All the places that actually know what fucking freedom is. But no, we can't have fucking women's health care in this fucking state. We can't have legalized gambling in this state. We can't even have legalized hemp products that everybody else has. Even places that don't have legalized marijuana has legalized hemp products because the federal government legalized it. But guess what we did here in Texas a couple of weeks ago? We now made a special rule that says, no, Texas doesn't have that. Texas is different than the rest of the fucking country. Because Texas freedom? Stop fucking telling yourself that, you dumbasses. This fucking place, one by one, shit's being taken away from us here. But as long as they keep saying, you know, you live in the freest state in the country, you're going to be like, duh, okay. I ain't going anywhere, motherfuckers. You don't like it, go somewhere else. Fuck you. We're going to change this place. We're going to get Governor Hot Wheels on the fucking road to oblivion, and we're going to put somebody normal in there. And it ain't going to be big old donkey tooth Dan Patrick, that motherfucker. I don't know anybody. There are no politicians in this state that I would cast a vote for. Not a single goddamn one of them. Richard Hunter. Well, can Richard Hunter move back? No, I wouldn't. I fucking would not move. I would not vote for Richard Hunter. I love him. I'd work on his campaign, but then I wouldn't actually vote for him because I'd be like, I don't agree with really all of your like crazy lefty things. I don't know that I see the world that way. Yes, Electric Outcast, I will. I will happily tell you how I really feel. I do it every day at noon right here. All right, so we are going to talk about Texas freedoms. See, I just got distracted. I just went spinning off. I got a little distracted there. Started ranting about Texas freedoms. I should probably do the Texas freedom bit now. All right, why not? We'll jump ahead. Did you know that there is a bill in the Texas State House that is going to make you the super freedom loving liberty patriot of Texas who can do everything because America and freedom and all of that? Yeah, the next time you try to buy any kind of sexually oriented materials, be it a dildo, be it a piece of fucking porn, be it a magazine that the state government of Texas doesn't approve of, you're going to have to present ID now. Yeah. Yeah, they want to know who you are and where you live when you're buying this shit, because Texas is free. Never forget, you're being lied to, you fools. No gambling, no pot, no prostitution, shit other people have. Not us here. Fucking little pregnant 16-year-olds driving all the way up to fucking wherever they got to drive to. And now, you know, hey, dude, you lonely 60-year-old white man who likes his little pocket rocket. You know, those are little like vaginal things that you put in your pants, and it's weird. I don't know. But you want to buy that? You better whip out your ID. State of Texas wants to know who you are, pervert. That's right, because freedom. All right. Bill Gates is in the news. He sat down and he talked with, I don't even know who he talked to, but it was interesting. I watched a little bit of it. He basically talked about the 3 jobs that will survive the coming AI revolution. Yeah, look, I'm too old. I'm worried about it. Whatever. AI is going to replace everything. AI is going. We had AI write a song for us as a theme song, and I thought it was going to be a joke. I thought it was going to be an awful thing, and I'm like, that's stupid. Fucking AI's got years to go. What AI did was returned a song that is better than anything Green Day has ever done. It was incredible, and it crushed my spirit as a creator, as an Imagineer. I'm like, God damn, they're coming for us. Shakespeare is dead. There's never going to be another Shakespeare. AI can do it. AI can do it. So Bill Gates is talking about the 3 jobs that AI will never be able to do, and the 3 jobs that if you're going to be a human being, this better be something you're good at, because this is all that's going to be left for you. Okay, the first job that he believes will survive an eventual AI takeover of every single job. The first one that he says is coders. Coders. right? So we've been telling people for years, getting every little kid getting coding at the time they're 12 years old so they understand this. Coders, Bill Gates says, will survive AI because AI is going to need, even though AI can do their own coding and all that kind of stuff, they are still going to need humans who are from the outside who are going to be able to do fixes and all of this kinds of thing. Now, the other side of that is right now, there is a glut of coders in this country. There are people that have been unemployed for years who have like advanced degrees in coding. Why? Because everybody's been learning how to code since they were 12 years old. So now, although Bill Gates says that there is a coding is the job that will survive AI, we got too many coders though. Right now, we got way too many. Second job that Bill Gates says will survive AI is energy sector experts. So if you work in oil and gas, if you work in nuclear power, if you work in all of those kinds of things, you will be able to survive. It says, or Gates says, Gates has alluded to the energy sector being far too complex for AI to realistically handle at this stage and the foreseeable future. The oil, nuclear, and renewable energy sectors require strategy and too much expertise to have a fully automated industry. Engineers, researchers, and technicians are expected to still be needed to manage infrastructure, understand industry challenges, and innovate for the future. Okay, so there you go. Energy sector workers and coders are the first two jobs that Bill Gates says will probably survive AI. The third one he says is there's going to be a whole bunch of us going around, walking around. Right, we got no jobs. We got nowhere to go. A bunch of us are gonna take up rock climbing. When we should be at work behind a desk, but we're gonna fall and we're gonna get hurt. Doctors, that's right. People who fix humans will definitely be needed. Doctors, biologists, all that kind of stuff. Here's the biologists. When it comes to biologists, while AI can be used as a tool in the medical industry, the technology lacks the necessary creativity for scientific discovery. So there you go. The limitation of AI is scientific discovery. Bill Gates says those three jobs, coders, people who work in the energy sector, and biologists or doctors or medical professionals. The only three jobs that will survive AI. We're gonna have robot cops. I live on the campus of SMU or adjacent to it. I mean, it's and do you know what I have in my neighborhood? I see him when I walk the dog. And CeeLo does not like them. CeeLo doesn't know what it is. We have those robots that deliver things. Have you seen them? They're like tiny little boxes with wheels that roll around the sidewalk and they deliver shit. We have those in my neighborhood. And now I understand that it's probably just because it's a college and they're using whatever. Fucking crazy. They just deliver. I look at it, I'm like, how's that thing get upstairs? How does it do that? I don't understand. I don't know. Anyway, I see him all the time. I'm gonna take a picture of it next time I see one. We're being replaced, man. We're being replaced. Drones dropping fried chicken from the sky into our backyard. Little robots rolling around. My dog does not like. CeeLo did not like that thing. She was like, what is that? What is that? It was like 20 yards away. The future. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh yeah. Here's one that's being floated from Washington. There's a plan to shut down the federal judiciary. Yeah. They're like, hey, we should get rid of all the federal judges. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's just have local judges. Let's just have local. You do something in your hometown, you go see the local judge. That's what they're championing. That's what they want. Let's get rid of the federal judiciary. You realize why they want that, right? Because it's the federal judiciary that puts all of these fucking gangsters behind bars. It's the federal judiciary that puts these people behind bars for embezzlement and bullshit business practices. It's not the local judges. Local judges are often paid for by gangsters or whoever the richest guy in the town is. Local judges are buyable. So, of course, these fucking corrupt son of a bitches are like, let's get rid of the level of judiciary that puts me and all my friends in prison. So that don't be tricked into thinking, some bullshit reason why they want to eliminate the federal judiciary. They want to eliminate the federal judiciary because those are the courts that put rich white guys in prison. So, of course, they want to get rid of it. Just be watching for that, okay? Florida. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. Whatever. I don't care. My kid's 15. I want him to have a job. I'm like, go get a job, dude. You got to start working. Florida, because they have no migrants anymore, because apparently they arrested or deported or whatever is going on with that stuff. Got rid of all of the migrants. Florida has jobs to fill. And they're a little concerned about how they're going to fill these menial migrant jobs. So the Florida state legislature did something yesterday so that, well, at least people are doing the jobs. You know what they did in Florida yesterday? They rolled back their child labor laws. Florida rolled them back. They're like, we got no dirty Mexicans to pick our oranges anymore. How about some white trash 14-year-olds? 14-year-olds in the state of Florida are now legally able to work the overnight shift. That's right. That's where we are. I don't care. Whatever. All right, moving on. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, let's go local, right? Let me show you. Yesterday, I showed you about the lady who lost her shit at the airport there at DFW. Kind of went a little bonkers. That was fun. We enjoyed that. Today, we got another one. This one happened in my neck of the woods. This was at on Lovers Lane and Lower Greenville, which is Lovers Lane in Greenville, not Lower Greenville. Sorry, Lovers Lane in Greenville, right there off 75. It's the campus of SMU. SMU is on the other side of 75. But then when you cross over to Greenville, you find all the bars and restaurants and shops and all that stuff that all the students, I say it's where they go to buy their pot. It's like you buy your pot over on that side of the expressway. But anyway, it's my neighborhood. It's where I buy all my food and stuff. So I very easily could have seen this. And, I very easily could have been in my car because I'm in this intersection at this particular place, probably, 10 times a month or 10 times a week, I should say. So I would have pulled my phone out. Now let's look at this. This happened at Lovers in Greenville today. Here in beautiful Dallas, Texas. I mean, fresh on the heels of the naked lady. Oh, by the way, you know what's awesome about the naked lady that we had? We talked about that yesterday. I had the naked lady yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. Today, the naked lady is like a story on other platforms. Like today, they're like, oh, did you see what crazy thing happened in Dallas? Nah, we talked about it yesterday. We had it first. All right, hold on. Something trying to show the video, but for some reason, it's spinning. There we go. Okay. All right. So this happened today, this morning, Lovers and Greenville. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to decide what would you do, or what are we supposed to do? What is the expectation of the other citizen? Here we go. Yeah. All right. So we see a man. By the way, just for a little bit of perspective, that car, they seem to be heading into Highland Park. Do you see the overpass there? They're going to cross over 75. They're going to cross over Lovers or 75 on Lovers into SMU. I mean, that is SMU right there. So this is happening just a couple of blocks away. Again, they're on Lovers heading east under 75 at Greenville. Let's watch this. Oh, by the way, it should also be said, this ain't his car. He didn't climb out of his car and said, no, this is just the closest car when he decided that he wanted to do a little roof dancing. There he is. He's shirtless. He's got nowhere to be. How do you end up shirtless? Can I just ask that question? How do you end up shirtless? I don't think I have ever gone outside the house shirtless. I don't go outside shirtless. You ever see a dude driving in his car shirtless? And it's always like somebody that's like, oh God, I bet that dude's got some warrants. I bet you that dude. It's all shirtless. Who fucking goes around shirtless? Now, I know there is that category of douchebag guy who's like, with their pecs and shit like that. Okay, I get that. That's a whole different thing. If you can, and you're like, look at how sexy I am. All right, so fine, go shirtless. Nobody else, no fucking body else is allowed to go shirtless, or else I'm just going to go, you're fucking white trash. And let me tell you something else. If you are going shirtless, wear shorts. All right. If you're going shirtless, wear shorts so that I might go, well, maybe he's in the pool. Who knows? This dude is wearing jeans. This guy is that is it. Those two things come together. Blue jeans, shirtless. Oh my God. Grab your wallet. You see a guy with blue jeans and no shirt on coming your way? Worse yet, here's the trifecta. Are you ready? The holy trinity of who this guy is. I'm burying the lead. I told you that he's not from this car. He didn't get out of that car and climb the roof. No, the trifecta. This shirtless blue jean wearing guy was riding a bike. Yeah! That's it. Shirtless, blue jeans, riding a bike. That's who this guy is. All right, let's keep watching. He's jumped on top of a car. He's doing a little dance. People are filming. Oh, he fell. Car's moving. Car's getting ready to move a little. Moving out of the intersection. All right. All right, now the light's red. Okay, so he's got some time. He's got some time here. He sees it's red. He's going to start dancing a little bit more. Once again, man, I don't get it. Blue jeans, shirtless, riding a bike. You don't have shorts? Fucking pedal in your underwear. It's 90 degrees out there. Or probably will be. All right. There he goes. Now he's dancing. Is he stomping on the roof? Like, is he being destructive or is he just being silly? Like, is his intent here to damage this person's car or is he just out of his mind looking for a place to dance? I need to know these things. There's his bike. And there it's red. Come on, green. Let's see what happens. Move. Let's go. Move. Oh, and just like all of these things, it ends right when you want to see what happens. So I got no information on this guy other than let me see in the comments if there's anything written about what was going on here. Not that we need to know. I think we know. He's probably having a bit of an episode, if you will. Could be on drugs. I'm reading some of these. I'm reading some of these comments here, and they're all just stupid people. People who comment on Rant, they're just stupid. You're all just stupid. It's all shit like, that's what happens in liberal cities. Fuck you. This is Dallas, Texas. Liberal city. Dallas has no fucking sway. Dallas does nothing. Seriously, that was the first thing I read. That's what happens in liberal city. Oh, fuck you moron. Yeah, Dallas, very liberal Dallas. On the campus of SMU, the most right-wing, conservative, high-end, 1%er private school in the state of Texas. Yeah, you're right. Fucking liberals. That's what happens. That's because the liberals did that. See how broken we fucking are? We can't even look at this bullshit that just happens without immediately making it divisive politically. Fucking liberals. Fuck you. Moving on. All right. We did the Texas dildo story already. That was next. That was going to be in this little hunk of Dallas things that we're going to talk about. But when we can't do Dallas, we always like to turn to our friends down there in Harris County. That's Houston, for those of you who don't understand. Houston's got a situation, man. Houston Police Department. Have you seen this story? I don't want to make light of this because this is really, really strange. The Harris County Sheriff's Department down there in Houston has, let me make sure I get this right. Four Harris County police officers have committed suicide in the last 6 weeks. What is going on down there? I mean, look, if I was taking a 30,000 foot view, I'd be asking, are these all connected? Do these people know each other? They all work in the Harris County. How are they connected? Were they all involved in something together? I mean, what the is going on? The Harris County Sheriff's Office in Houston, Texas has experienced 4 suicides in the past 6 weeks. On Thursday, loved ones and colleagues said their final goodbyes to Deputy Kristy Noem, a former employee, the individuals getting a little privacy. They committed suicide. They were obviously having a difficult thing. Anyway, I don't have any thoughts on that other than That is really, really strange. 4 suicides from Harris County police officers down there in Houston in 6 weeks. That's kind of crazy. All right, what do you say we do this now? Let's talk about some movies. Let's get into some entertainment stuff, some things that are happening in the world. I've been waiting for this. This is very exciting. Hold on, let me pull it up. Let me make sure we get it. I've been waiting for this. Did you know it was released? It was released yesterday, but it was released after we went on the air, so there it is. Okay, got to find it. Ooh, hold on, let me make sure we get this right. Now we'll do it on YouTube. Yeah, I'd rather just do it on YouTube. Okay. You guys, yesterday, they released the trailer for Rust. Yeah. You know Rust? You know, the Adam Baldwin was in My Bodyguard. You guys remember My Bodyguard? That was Adam Baldwin. He's my favorite Baldwin. And he's not even one of them Baldwins. He just so happens to have the same name, Baldwin. Adam Baldwin, My Bodyguard. Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust. Let's go ahead and say it. Accidentally shot Elena Hutchins. Of course it was an accident. He's not a murderer, although a lot of people, because he portrayed Trump, was like, he's a murderer and must go to jail forever. Fuck you. It was a terrible accident. We call that manslaughter. And we have a whole different set of rules to adjudicate these kinds of things. So shut the fuck up. Not a fan of Alec Baldwin, other than I think that he's an incredibly talented guy. One of the funniest characters in the history of television was Jack Donaghy on 30 Rock. Fucking The Cooler. Have you ever seen The Cooler? Cool dramatic role. Glenn Ross. I mean, the only thing that people know from that movie, which was an ensemble film with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, the only thing that people recite from Glenn Ross is Alec Baldwin's cameo. Alec Baldwin was in one scene in that fucking movie, and everybody knows coffee is for closers. He's good. Alec Baldwin's good. Seems like a bit of a douche, bit of an arrogant, sort of condescending prick in real life. But whatever. People, he imitated Trump, and people decided that they wanted to call him a murderer and all that stuff, because people aren't serious. People are ridiculous. Now, I told you all that we have to see this movie, Rust. We have to all see this movie, Rust, because one of the deals is that Alec Baldwin, as a producer, they brought Elena Hutchins' family in. Their family is getting what's known as back-end money, which means that when the film is released, all the profits will go to Elena Hutchins and her child. So we have to go see that movie, or Elena Hutchins' child, I should say. Elena is dead. Elena Hutchins' husband and her child. So we got to see it. So I'll see it. Shit, I might, I might just go to a movie theater at some point, buy a ticket, and never go, right? You don't have to go. But it's such a sad story. That woman, Elena Hutchins, now, it's been a few years. We've been able to learn a little bit about her. She seems like a major loss to humanity. Like, she was just a really wonderful woman. And so there you have it. So we've been waiting. Let's take a look. I have no idea what Rust is about. It's a cowboy movie where a director gets shot. That's all I know. I don't think that's part of the plot. Let's see. First trailer for the Alec Baldwin, the controversial film Rust, has been released. Let's watch it. Here we go.
The only order that exists in this world is the order we impose. If a man loses sight of that, he's got nothing.
God bless the wicked. They continue to pay my bills. Some things in this life you can't get back, I reckon.
When? Tell us when.
Heaven ain't waiting on neither one of us.
Nothing. So it doesn't say when. All right. Yeah. So turn this back on. All right. So we all just watched Rust. Is there a chance it's a good movie? Is there a chance that's a good movie? That looks like that could be a good movie. You got to stay open-minded, man. You can't let all the bullshit separate the art from the artist. You got to let all that bullshit out. What if that movie turns out to be a really good movie? What if that movie turns out to maybe not be a blockbuster, because I don't know how well Western is going to be. But what if it turns out to be something that starts winning awards? What could you imagine? Alec Baldwin wins Best Actor next year for his role in Rust. Can you imagine what that speech will be like? Holy cow! Anyway, that's really interesting. Also, what else do we have? Do we have another? Oh, Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ 2. Apparently, I don't know. Electric Boogadoo. I don't know what Passion of the Christ 2 would be. I suppose Resurrection. To be honest with you, I don't know how Passion. This is gonna sound like a joke. It's not a joke. I don't know how Passion of the Christ ends. I mean, I never saw it. I mean, I know. Does Passion of the Christ include the resurrection? Because is that what part 2 is? Is part 2 going to be the resurrection? Because I will see the resurrection before I'll see the Passion of the Christ. I ain't seeing that movie. Okay, sorry. I'm not one for fucking torture porn. That's what. Seen enough clips and heard enough about Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ to know that there are gratuitous torture porn scenes throughout this. And I just don't need it. I was raised in the Catholic Church. I sat in a church every Sunday and I looked at this mural around the rim and the roof of this beautiful church that I was in. I looked at this mural that told a story, and it was the story of Jesus carrying the cross and being tortured and nailed. And I sat there as a kid watching this going, that's fucking gross. The fuck is wrong with these people that they think that's appropriate to put up on? What the fuck? Yeah, that's part of the story. You don't have to fucking make it front and center, okay? You weirdos, you torture porn weirdos. Don't want to see it. Now, I did see The Last Temptation of Christ, which was Scorsese's William Dafoe film. That's a good movie. And I'm not saying Passion of the Christ isn't a good movie. I just don't see the need for him to do, remember the scene? Look, what Mel Gibson did with Passion of the Christ was the same thing that he did at the end of Braveheart. Yeah, I love Braveheart. I think that's a great movie, but it's just too much. Gibson is a hardcore Catholic, is way too comfortable with torture porn. That's it. Okay, so maybe you're like, what is torture porn? Torture porn is the same thing as fuck porn, okay? Porn is not specific to things you watch to masturbate to, okay? Porn, the definition of porn is anything gratuitous, completely lacking artistic merit, all right? That's what porn is. So, torture porn. You're just fucking torturing people because you want the reaction of the audience to be, it's gratuitous. Torture porn. I don't like that shit. Same reason I don't watch crazy slasher movies and really vile. I don't like that shit because I know that shit really does happen in the world. I know that there really are monsters out there who are doing these kinds of awful things, possibly even inspired by all this fucking garbage. Which is why you guys know I'm not a big porn guy. It's like I am totally for it, and I think that it should be allowed, and not something you share with children, but certainly for grown-ups and adults, no problem with it on principle, and I will support its right to stay. But I'm not a great fan of it. Man, I'm really not a great fan of the fucking blood and guts version of it. I can't do anything gratuitous. I can't do anything that is just that. Yeah. So anyway, they're making a second one. And I think I could watch the second one because I think the resurrection will not be so much about just gratuitous torture porn. How do we watch that stuff? CC would like to break in. CC of the Sports Bros. He's out there at the Texas Rangers home opener. He's reporting now live that the roof is closing. So they are closing the roof, which is probably good because rain is expected, and you do not want opening day to be rained out. So there you have it. They're closing the roof out there in Arlington. Give me a second here. All right, let's see what Electric Outcast said. If reading this, I went into lurk mode after the trailer to take care of some things. I wish you good night and good luck. If reading, okay, there you go, buddy. That's it. That's nice. There you go. Very good. Adam Rayner says, Boogajoo is what my grandpa used to call the black Jewish family on our block. I ruined Adam's joke because I laughed too early. That's a good joke. Boogajoo is what my grandpa used to call the black Jewish family on our block. Boom. So anyway, coming soon. Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ 2, Electric Boogajoo. I'm going with that. What else do we have here? Am I too small? Look at this. When I do this, I'm like way too small, right? I'm like, I got to fix this shit, man. I got to do something different. Peter says, heard on TV today, if humidity gets above 50%, I have to close the roof because, whatever. It's not like some crazy involved process, right? I mean, closing the roof. Like, why can't you have it open? It's nice. Oh, it's raining. Let's close the fucking roof. Or is roof closing? Is electric roof closing as tenuous as launching a rocket? Because did you ever hear that before? They're like, we can't close. Once we open it, we can't close it again. Why not? The fuck? Why not? Why can't you open and close that motherfucking thing? You know why? Because apparently it's way more complicated than we think it is, which is why, harkening back to yesterday's show, I'm telling you, we're never going to have flying cars because you people can't be trusted. And we're also never going to have doors to our little space pod houses that go zit, zit. We're not going to do that because at some point they're not going to go zit, zit. At some point they're going to go zit, 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 zit. They're going to do that, and we're not going to be able to get into our own home. We got to be able to get into our own home. So we're always going to have lock key doors, open it, close it. I can go through. Technology will never keep us from pooping. When we're running to our house, I got to poop. And the door is like, gink, 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 gink. Nope, not going to happen. All right, let's just continue. Let's just keep going. We don't need to right anymore. Hey, by the way, it's 2:30. Did we start? We started right about at noon, right? Has this show really been going that long? Okay, that's all right. Let's see here. Oh, here's one. Yeah, we'll get into this one. We're going to end with this. This will be the last one that we'll do because maybe I'll stretch out a little and we'll talk about this because it's a very complicated point of view that I have, and I've always had it. It's always been. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I didn't always have it. I did not always have it. But I have within the last 15 years, totally comfortable with the concept. And what is that concept that I'm totally, and again, I always need to explain it because some of you people are so fucking, you're like, what? What does that mean? What? Nah. So here's how I'll explain it. There's a new study out. Study finds monogamous relationships versus non-monogamous relationships. Study finds who's happier? Who's happier? People who are in loving, committed, monogamous relationships where I'm only allowed to fuck you ever and you're only allowed to fuck me and we're not allowed to explore any of our natural human sexual curiosities because we put rings on each other's fingers and now we own each other. So there's that kind of relationship. Or there's the kind based on trust and love and not wanting to betray one another who, if you come to the other person and go, you're not really doing it for me now that you're 45 years old. Have you seen the pool boy? Kind of flirt with him. I think that he's kind of hitting on me. Go for it. Fuck the fucking pool boy. Let me know. I don't care. You're not my possession. This whole idea, guys are always like, but that's my wife. And I fucking own her. Well, you know what? If you're pleasing her and if you're a good husband, you're in no danger of losing her. And if one of the ways that you are in danger of losing her is because you can't fuck her the way she needs to be fucked anymore, which I'm sorry to say, husbands, is a very big thing. Let her go get herself taken care of. Wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love that if you were, now you got to be a good looking guy, but if you're like a good looking guy and you've been married to the same woman for 15 years and you guys are fucking thick as thieves, you got kids together, you love each other, you can finish each other's sentences, you are in love. But you hot guy, you still want to, you still want to bang somebody every now and again because you're still a guy. You still got to spread that seed. That's the natural order of things for us. That's how our brain works. So wouldn't it be a much better relationship if you could go out and just cure that urge and then come home and tell your wife, oh my God, I got off this afternoon, and she'll laugh about it and not fucking hate you because she doesn't look at you like you're a possession either. Now, I don't know if you want to go ahead and like move this into an area where you're having threesomes and stuff. That's not my thing. I'm a little bit too private. But whatever, man. Love in a relationship is built on so many other more important things than sex. You're going to spend the majority of the relationship, hopefully, I hope this for you, you're going to spend the majority of your relationship with the person that you love in a non-sexual state. You're only going to be like banging it out all the time until about maybe 40, 45. Then it's going to slow down drastically. And by the time you're 55, you're still going to be with this woman that you love, but you ain't going to want to have sex with her, and she ain't going to want to have sex with you either, and their sex drives are dropping. You're still going to live together for the next 40 years, hopefully 50 years, in a non-sexual state. There are things more important in relationships than who gets to fuck her, or it's so silly. I have seen people's relationships end. Great couples. Great. You guys are fucking awesome together. And really, you're breaking up with him because he cheated on you? He is incredible to you in every other way otherwise. And then, those people go on and they spend 10 years alone. And then they marry somebody out of desperation and their lives are miserable because they allowed something stupid like humans possessing another's sexuality destroy a lifetime of potential happiness. Now, I'm not saying it's for everybody. There are a lot of people who are too insecure for that. But for people who are, totally comfortable with the idea that your wife probably fucked some other guys before she got to you, unless you're weird. I always say that. I had a friend who used to say, I want to marry a virgin. And I used to be like, you're fucking weird, man. You want to marry a virgin? First of all, you're a virgin. You're just going to have bad sex forever? Are you out of your mind? I would like to marry a girl who knows what she likes and knows exactly what this is all about. Because again, sex is not that big of a part of it all when you get right down to it. Love, admiration, loyalty, respect, being inspired by somebody. That's what it's about. So if you are comfortable with throwing all that away because she kissed another boy, you're a fool and you deserve to be unhappy. Now, what do the experts say? This is a study that probed the question of who's happier, monogamous relationships or non-monogamous relationships. Researchers analyzing nearly 25,000 couples found no significant difference in relationship or sexual satisfaction between monogamous and non-monogamous individuals. Non-monogamous people actually reported higher levels of trust than monogamous individuals, challenging common assumptions about these relationship structures. So do you see in this study, couples who are, let's just call it open, because non-monogamous is a little bit too much. Couples who are open in this study reported having much higher levels of trust because they've eliminated the one fucking thing and they're dealing with it like grown-ups. Putting the motivators and the drivers for why these things occur, putting them in their proper perspective. Oh, you're fucking horny? Well, we can't be together anymore because you're too horny for me and I can't keep up with you and you must now be miserable and you're going to make my life hell. Go fuck the pool boy. The findings suggest that relationship satisfaction depends more on how relationships are conducted rather than whether they're monogamous or non-monogamous. There you go. And how relationships are conducted. How honest are you with each other? I love you, baby. But, you know, I knew that there was a couple that I used to be friends with. And like we'd be watching something and there'd be a whole bunch of dudes. We're all hanging out in a group and somebody be like, oh man, check her out on TV. Like Pam Anderson on TV. Like, oh, check her out. And then because of the girl that this dude was dating, this dude had to go, she ain't that hot. Tina's way hotter. Fuck you, dude. You're a fool. And you know who's even worse? Tina. Because you're only saying that because Tina can't handle the idea that Pam fucking Anderson on Baywatch is hot. You can't be in a relationship with that person. You gotta be able to acknowledge. You know, you can say you're my soulmate and there's nobody else in the world that can make me happy, but that's not the same thing as saying, I only want to fuck you and I'm not at all sexually attracted to anybody else ever again. That's a lie. That's dishonesty and you're setting your relationship up for trouble. Anyway, there we go. Monogamous relationships versus non-monogamous relationships. Absolutely no difference of significance to report as far as who reported being happier. However, non-monogamous people in relationships, by a large margin, trust their partner far more than people in monogamous relationships. That's it. You got your man loyal to you because he's fucking scared. Nice relationship. Nice relationship. He would totally get away with it if he thought he could, but you got him scared. I'm tired. Oh my God. Jeff Ballard, who is one of my favorite people, is one of the dumbest fucking shit take artists on the planet. He posted something on Twitter a couple weeks ago that was just the dumbest. Like anybody with logic would read it and go, oh, that's one of those things that dumb people see and thinks reads smart. But then when you really think about it, it turns out that it's completely fucking dumb. That's what this is. Jeff says, so you have no problem with your wife out there whoring around? That's what you took from it. That's how Jeff sees women. They are categorized in two ways, either sexually loyal to him and him alone, or they're whores. That's Jeff's worldview. And that's the reductive nature of his logical progression. So we know what we're dealing with. Stop it, Jeff. Nobody said comfortable with your wife whoring around. That's your word. Whoring around means she's working a fucking pole and jerking guys off in the diamond room, okay? Whoring around means she's out in bars trolling for fucking strange. Which, by the way, if she said, I'm going out with the girls tonight, and you know what? I think I'm going to fuck that bartender. All right, that's not whoring around. Whoring around is doing it without my knowing. And what defines a whore? Well, that really just depends. Because I'll tell you what, if you're going to get rid of all of the girls that you consider whores from your sexual lexicon, you're going to have a lot of bad sex, motherfucker. You probably had nothing but lame ass missionary sex with fucking fives. Okay. Whoring around. Women in their sexuality, man, let them do whatever they want. But remember, you got Jeff, who's probably not anybody any of you want to fuck anyway. You got Jeff out there. You're a whore. Fuck it. Are you a whore? Would you fuck a hot girl if she came up to you if you weren't married? Just out of nowhere? Just fuck her? You're having sex? Are you a whore, Jeff? No, it's okay for Jeff because guys got to get their dick wet, right? Is that the argument? No, leave women alone, man. Let women fucking explore their sexuality with the same freedom that we men have been allowed. But no, if they do, Jeff thinks they're a whore because I own my wife. She does what I say. God. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate Jeff triggering me to go into that rant. None of that should be taken personal, but if you do, tough enough. Al says, what is the ratio of men to women being all right with an open relationship? Well, 7-3. I mean, I can't imagine. I know that my very rational view of relationships, I know that I'm in the minority, but I don't think I'm always going to be in the minority. I think that these are archaic views on possessive relationships that are changing. So, didn't really have that. Al says, is it the same for a guy? Do you think more women would be comfortable with their men doing other women? I think they should be. Why would they care? Is it a sexual possessive thing? What is this idea that like once we get married, you can no longer have sex with anyone else? I don't understand. I mean, I know it's a thing and I know it's something we've all accepted, but why? People are sexual animals. We need, that is a huge part of our mental sobriety, being able to explore and fulfill our sexual and personal needs. But we stifle them when we get married. Look, open communication, talking about all of this stuff, not running around. When people get butthurt? When they find out that someone's been running around behind their back and then they're crushed and they feel because of societal pressures that they got to do something. Ego demands that they won't file it for divorce. You are up and then you're miserable the rest of your life because you blew everything because of one fucking indiscretion. When you guys could have been grown-ups about it and talked about all of this stuff and talked about the limitations of your sexual fulfillments and all of that, but no, instead you just went, toughen up. You get no good sex anymore. We're not ever having sex. We're not ever having good sex. It's complicated, man. Relationships are complicated. People need to be able to talk and you need to be comfortable with things. And you know what? If you're in a relationship with somebody and they sit down and they say those words, they say to you, I want to be in an open relationship, and you can't fucking handle that for whatever reason, then get the fuck out. And there you go. That's as good as her telling you she wants to break up. But, it's complicated. But no. Anyway, whore. All women are whores who have sex with. Stop it. Stop it. Dork. Adam says, I'd be fine with my wife being with someone else if she chooses to. That is a level of trust most people don't have. That's exactly right. It's a level of trust. Fucking someone doesn't mean you love them. The best sex I ever had was somebody whose name I don't even know. The fuck? I don't understand this. I don't understand it. My guy Jeff took a beating and now he's back. He says, some of the best sex I've had came from the kind of women that you had to take a couple of penicillin pills after. That's not really my, I mean, I'm joking, but I haven't had an exorbitant amount of sex. Various partners. Let's say that. I haven't had a ridiculous number. My body count is normal. It's fairly normal. I mean, it's maybe better than, other fat guys because of what I did and because of the kinds of women that I was allowed to hit on and in the room with, but I took advantage of that. I was single. But my body count isn't crazy. I was always in relationships. You people who listen to me, you know that. You never heard me come on the air and talk about this chick I fucking banged last night. That wasn't anything I ever did. I always introduced you to the girls that I was in relationships with because it's the relationship that's important, not the fucking sex. The relationship is what you need to maintain in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, not the sexual wants of a 25-year-old. All right, we're going to move on. Thank you. There we go. That was fun, though. Huh? See, that's some provocative talk radio that a lot of you folks probably can't handle. Adam says insecurity is so late, and that is exactly what it is. It is insecurity. It is insecurity wrapped in your own ego that you think that you must respond because this is in some way some slight on you, that you've been aggrieved. It's very complicated. It's very complicated. I heard somebody say something recently that I thought was really, really kind of hot because she was a hot woman. I don't remember who it is. If I think of who it is, I'll tell you who it was. But she said that she would never, it was an interview show. It was a panel show. They were all talking. And she said that she would never date a man who hadn't been to therapy. And I went, yeah, I can totally see that. And her reasoning was, if you're so dumb that you don't realize that you can change almost everything about yourself that you don't like simply by going in and thinking about and learning about why you do the things that you do. She said, I don't need you in my life. I go, if you think that you're fine and that you have never tried to improve yourself mentally, oh yeah. If you're in the gym, look at me, I'm fucking, look at me, look at my body. If you're only about improving yourself physically, but have never even thought to maybe stop being a dick or wondering, why am I a dick to people? Or whatever your issue is. If you never thought about that, she said she didn't want to date you. And I thought that was refreshing. That was refreshing. All right, I got nothing else. I don't know, guys. Are we done? I think we're done. I think we're good. I love you guys. This was fun. This was really, we've been doing shows with people and I enjoy that. But yesterday and today I've been able to spread out a little or not spread out, but actually dial in and do a little bit more of the traditional rant. Thank you once again to our executive producer, the lovely and talented and always welcome around these parts, at least as far as I'm concerned, Tracy Double D. Tracy Double D. She was the executive producer of today's show. She tipped the best yesterday. If you want to help us out, you can drop a little something. That would be great. Sure would appreciate that. We take Venmo and we take Cash App. The show runs on your condolences. Why do I always say that? Gratuities. I got nothing else. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. We good? All right, you guys are cool. I love you. Bye.